This is the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, where every week this brother-sister duo gets together to discuss the box office, latest film and TV scoops, along with our latest movie or show review and what we're getting into next. We're your host, Cheryl.
And Jay.
All right, this week we are closing out the Venom trilogy with Venom The Last Dance. I almost called it Let There Be Carnage. It actually doesn't matter what I call it. All right, and Jay is on deck for trivia. What you got?
Okay, so Venom The Last Dance stars 3 actors who are already in the MCU. Who are those 3 and what are their characters?
Oh, okay. This should be easy. Okay, I'm not going to say his name right. I'm probably going to butcher it. Chiwetel, how do you say his last name?
Chiwetel Ejiofor? Yes.
Yes, Chiwetel Ejiofor. It plays Baron.
Yes.
From Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm. There's 2 more.
There's 2 more in the MCU.
Yes.
Marvel Studios.
Yes.
Kevin Feige Productions.
Yes.
The black girl looked familiar.
No. Neither of them are. You did the one black one.
Okay. Dang. The dad of the family.
Yes.
He looked familiar.
Reese
Dang.
Ifans.
Oh. Did he play like a...
That one's a tricky one, but he was technically in the MCU.
Is that one of the answers, though?
Yes.
Was he in a Hulk?
No.
Was he in a Phase 1 movie?
No, he was one of the later Phase films.
Okay, later Phase. His face looks familiar. That's why I guessed him. Later Phase. Was it a Captain America movie?
Close.
Avengers movie.
This character lives in the same state.
Okay, he was in a Spider-Man movie.
Okay.
Was he in Spider-Man 2?
No.
1?
No. What do you consider Spider-Man 2 and 1?
Okay, was he in Homecoming?
No.
Was he in the one with Mysterio that I can't think of?
No.
Okay. He was in the last one.
Yes.
Okay. Who was he in the last one? Who would he been in the last Spider-Man movie? Was he one of the teachers? Is he the principal?
No.
Oh, look, the same white guy.
You want me to give you this one?
Yes, give me that one.
He plays Dr. Kirk Connors, the lizard.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
His face only. He was mostly in the Andrew Garfield ones.
Okay.
But his face appears at the end of No Way Home when they cure all the
right.
villains of their
Okay, that's why you
afflictions.
said which spy. Okay, fair enough.
And you got one more.
One more. Male or female?
Male.
Okay, that already takes away what I was gonna say. Okay, male.
There's not that many people in this movie.
That's what I'm saying, because I was like, well, I hope it's a female because ain't nobody else left to guess. Was it the was it one of the military guys?
No.
Was it one of the guys?
It was an important character.
Okay. So it was the guy they thought was dead. I don't know what his character's name is in this one.
No. Although I don't think he's been in the MCU. But no, it wasn't him.
Okay.
He was not an important
Ain't
character.
that many people left in this movie.
It's an important character in
In
Venom.
this movie.
Yes.
And it's not the black guy. It's not a woman.
No.
Tom Hardy? Is it Tom Hardy?
Well, I guess Tom Hardy technically was in the MCU for a little bit, but no.
That's not him?
No.
Who was Tom Hardy in the MCU for a little bit?
I mean, he played Venom. I mean, Eddie Brock.
Oh,
in
you're
MCU
considering Venom. Okay.
Yeah.
I ain't calling him MCU. Who else was in this movie? Oh, Andy Serkis?
Yes.
Who was Andy Serkis in the MCU? Hold on, no, because your face. Let me guess. Who was Andy Serkis? And everything is telling me, I keep wanting to say Gollum, but I know that's not it.
No.
Andy
Serkis appeared in the MCU twice.
Why am I blanking so
twice
bad?
as the same person.
As the same person. Okay, what?
Oof.
Oh my God. That's why I want to say it, because as soon as you say it, I'm going to be like, oh, of course. Okay, it wasn't Thor. It wasn't Captain America. It wasn't Iron Man. Oh, he's Black Panther. Don't tell me. Go ahead and tell me, but because I know that's the right movie.
He plays Ulysses Claw.
Thank you. There it is.
In
There
Black
it is.
Panther and in Age of Ultron.
He should have been the first person, I guess.
He should have.
Second. He definitely should have been second, because Chiwetel Ejiofor is
Yeah, I know how Reese
Obviously
Ifans
the first.
came to mind first, but yes.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis, Reese Ifans, and Chiwetel Ejiofor were all in the MCU.
Okay. That was harder than it should have been.
It was, especially that last one.
Shame. You have been redeemed from the Rat Pack situation from last week. So there it is. We even now.
Okay, so that is the trivia for this week. Let's get into the rest of the episode. Welcome, fellow movie buffs. I'm Jay.
I'm Cheryl.
Listen in as we break down movie and TV shows, tell you what's in the plot, and hear if we think you should have watched it when you had the chance.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, y'all, this episode gonna be 5 hours long, so get some popcorn and buckle in. I'm kidding, but not really. So we have quite a few new movie announcements that we'll go over. Trailer park is full, no vacancy, so we'll go over what trailers came out this week, and the Buncha Crunch is like overflowing. We got 2 boxes this week. So let's start off at the top here. Tom Cruise is gonna be in a movie that is not Mission Impossible, which I will say some of my favorite Tom Cruise movies are not Mission Impossibles. So I'm kind of looking forward to this. It will be directed by a director's name that I'm about to butcher, and Jay's going to hopefully correct me. Maybe Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu?
I think the squiggly line above the end means something. So
it's the director of Babel, Birdman, and The Revenant. So if you know those movies, it's that director.
Yeah, good movies.
All good movies.
Critically acclaimed.
Yes, so he's notable director. He's not just, somebody found on the street. This movie does not have a name yet, but it will star Riz Ahmed, who he's pretty prominent, but I can't think of what he's been in recently.
Sound of Music.
Okay.
No. Not
Sunny
the Sound of Music.
Sunny in Philadelphia?
The Sound of Metal. Somebody is going to roast us for that.
The way I went with it, we're like, yeah, sure, Sound of Music.
I
thought she was talking about something else.
Not the Sound of Music.
Okay.
Not The Hills Are Alive.
I literally was like, Jay knows what we're talking
Sound
about.
of Metal was about, he was a drummer who was losing his hearing.
Oh, that sounds like a very interesting movie. Okay. Sophia Wilde, Sandra Hüller,
Anatomy of a Fall.
Okay. I don't know where Sandra Hüller is from.
That's the movie. Anatomy of a Fall. It went to the Oscars.
Yes, I recall hearing a lot of chatter about that. Jesse Plemons, it's Jesse Plemons. Yes. And John Goodman.
Jesse Plemons Dunst.
And John Goodman. I don't know if we need to say who they are.
Yes.
So the rumor plot will center on a powerful man in the world, most powerful man in the world, which I'm going to guess is Tom Cruise. Or not. It could be John Goodman.
It's absolutely.
Or
You're
Jesse.
not going to have anybody in a Tom Cruise movie as the most powerful man in the world, and it's not Tom Cruise.
Okay, you think
it's the whole reason this movie's getting made.
Okay, you think it's him? So this most powerful man who embarks on a frantic mission to prove he's humanity's savior. So this is
Mission Implausible.
Right. I was about to say something else, but I'm not going to go there. Basically, he wants to prove he's humanity's savior before the disaster he unleashes destroys everything. I was about to slide in some cult reference, but I decided I ain't going to go there.
Mission Irreplaceable.
Mission
Indestructible.
Okay. I like it. It sounds interesting, though, although it kind of does sound like a Mission Impossible movie. Now
it
that
absolutely does.
You was being funny, but I was kind of like, it actually does sound like a Mission Impossible. But I'm sure it's going to have more of a... what do you want to call it? I hate to call it Christopher Nolan film, but I'm sure it'll be less...
It'll be different than his Mission Impossible films.
There you go.
Yes.
I was trying to say more grounded. I think that's the word I'm going for. Maybe not...
It'll be shot differently. I mean, when you look at The Birdman and The Revenant, it's shot a lot differently than a Mission Impossible film, than a blockbuster. Those aren't shot like blockbuster movies.
It won't be as probably action-y and CGI.
It depends on what the disaster he's released is.
Okay, fair enough.
I
wonder if it's like
actiony.
If it's like biological, or if he's just like some sort of like superhuman and he's supernatural of some sort.
Probably. I don't see Tom Cruise going backwards. I don't see Tom Cruise going back to his show me the money era.
Okay, so you think it's gonna be something like
Jerry Maguire? No,
okay.
Tom Cruise is now the action guy. He's in his Gerard Butler era.
You're saying he's
but with more budget.
He ain't going to nothing don't require no green screen.
He's not going backwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all that we know about the movie. I'm assuming this is going to come out after the next Mission Impossible, which comes out next year. So this is going to start filming. They supposedly next month. So sounds interesting. I like Tom Cruise and his non-Mission Impossible eras. So
I like Sophie Wilde. I just realized who that is. That's the girl from Talk to Me.
Oh, yes, you're right.
And she's going to be in that new that hacking video game movie that we talked about.
Okay.
Watch Dogs.
Yes. You're correct. You're correct.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I think she was just in that. She's in the Nicole Kidman movie, Baby Girl.
Oh, is she? I didn't know she was in that.
So she's been blowing up in a lot of stuff.
Which has been getting pretty. I had a friend recommend Baby Girl to me, so I need to check that out.
Yeah. So shout out to Sophie Wilde.
All right, so as we learn more about this, we will definitely share the news, but we getting some 9 MI 8, 10, and 11.
It's still coming. They're saying that it's supposed to present its first trailers in front of the IMAX showing of Gladiator. So.
Oh, that would be perfect placement for that, honestly.
Yeah.
Big movie.
Not perfect placement for that release again.
Listen,
they're still trying to release it against competition.
I don't know why we ain't learned our lesson from last time, but hey, my money. So
I think Mission Impossible is becoming an old franchise.
Oh, it's
people aren't. I mean,
we're on 8, so
it's becoming an old franchise where it's not gaining any new people.
I would agree with you.
Yeah,
100%.
Like it gained new people in the middle, kind of like Fast and Furious did. Fast and Furious gained new people when they started getting wild, but then they went wild too long.
I think when Rebecca Ferguson joined, new people came with her.
Yes,
but then
when she left, they left too.
I don't think anybody else knew was gonna stop. We're like, is we on 8? No, I'm not starting from the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't technically need to be honest, but if you don't keep up with the movies, you don't know that. You probably think you need to watch all 8. And who's doing that?
Well, and the whole marketing of these last 2 films, they marketed them as a 2-parter.
A pair.
Now they have
De-market
to
them,
completely do a whole 180 and market them separately. So who knows what this movie's going to be about? Which
is good while he's doing other things.
Yeah.
Because he needs something to kind of. I guess he also had Top Gun, so I didn't watch that.
Top Gun is still coming. So
that's
Top
not
Gun
2.
Cerulean. I don't know what
Top
they're going to call the third one.
Squad.
Sure.
Yeah. When I say non-Mission Impossible era, I'm not talking about Top Gun. So.
No. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, Top Gun is in the Mission Impossible era.
Skip.
It's just Ethan Hunt flying a plane.
But not as cool in my opinion. But whatever. Y'all love that movie and let me not hate on it. Next up, we have Robert Pattinson is getting in his producer bag and possibly starring. I don't think he's gonna star in this, but he's gonna be producing a new A24 movie called Prime Time. So Lance Oppenheim will direct. Pattinson's going to produce under his production banner. It says he's not set to star in this film, but based on the premise, I think he is. Because
he looks like Chris Hansen.
Hello. The rumor is that it's supposed to take inspiration from the show To Catch a Predator.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to assume 99.9% of y'all know what To Catch a Predator was. But if you weren't, because I don't think it's on anymore, basically Chris Hansen, the host, and his team would set up predators. They would like
stage houses.
Yeah, stage houses to catch very disgusting men online trying to hook up with underage girls.
And boys.
You're right.
Children.
They did not discriminate.
No.
So they would, and it was a whole they would show us how they set it up. They would show the fake messages. They would have
like a reality show almost.
It was, pretty much like a reality
they would
news
set up a fake house.
Mm-hmm.
They would lure the people in.
Yep.
Using an adult actor who
looked like a
child.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the adult got in the house and tried to pursue the child, Chris
Hansen would come around the corner. It was always in like a kitchen too. They would always lure him to the kitchen, probably where it had the most vantage points for the cameras.
Yeah.
But and then Chris Hansen ended up getting into some kernuffle.
I think he
towards the end
committed
of that.
regular adultery.
Yeah, I think okay. So
I mean,
legal adult. It was legal. So thankfully,
I guess.
I ain't say it was right.
I mean, not legal, but
I mean, it's not a crime. I mean, it's
not criminal.
It's right. So you can't go to court for that.
So,
but I guess
houses.
Right. It was very interesting because everybody was like, "Now, how you going? Well, you've been out here catching predators." But anywho,
yeah,
I don't think it's based on Chris.
It's just regular cheating.
Exactly. That's it. Technically, not illegal.
Yeah, not victimless, but.
the movie's not based on his life, so we ain't even got. I don't even know why we went down that tangent.
It seems like it's about the process of the show.
Yes, which is if you've never seen To Catch a Predator, I'm sure you could catch it on YouTube to get the premise of what we're talking about. I could see this being a movie though, and I wonder if the character, like the main character who may or may not be played by Pattinson, gets like just tired of it. And he's just kind of like, I'm burnt. I can't believe people are this bad. I don't know. I wonder what the end of the movie
what the end
be.
Game of the movie is, because I think the show just ended. They just stopped doing it.
Right. And it was on
especially after Chris Hansen got into some trouble.
Right. And it was on for a long time.
The show. It was on for a while.
Right.
It came on network television.
Sure did. NBC, I think.
And this makes sense. They're doing a lot of stuff about the making of stuff. They just did that Saturday Night Live thing.
The franchise is kind of like the making of something. It's franchise fake,
what was that show about the making of The Godfather? The Deal.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was
on Netflix.
Sounds interesting though.
It's called hold on.
There's The Morning Show. Isn't that the behind the scenes of like a morning show on Apple TV?
That's more like a drama.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oops. Clearly I don't watch it.
It is called The Offer.
Oh, yes. Okay.
The Offer is about the making of the studios getting together to make The Godfather.
Okay.
So, yeah, that makes sense that they would do a show like this. Mm-hmm. I was confused why A24 keeps popping up, because everybody's going to A24 for their movies now.
Well, A24 need to pay the bills.
But somebody said that the reason is because A24 gives people more creative control, too.
I believe that.
So it's just because you have big actors like Robert Pattinson and The Rock or whoever.
Yep.
And Tom Cruise and
Colman Domingo
and Hugh Grant, and they're all flocking to A24 instead of going to like the known studio big houses like Warner Brothers, Universal,
Disney,
and
Paramount.
Disney. And I heard it's because A24 gives more creative control and it works over there.
I mean, they're technically
everywhere else.
Are they still considered an independent studio?
I think still now, because they haven't made enough box office to compete with the big houses. No. But I think their profit margin is much better than the big house.
You know what? I
think they have more take home.
You might be right about that. A24 did have maybe last summer they were like, we're trying to get some franchises over here, so we can get the money to make all this smaller art house movies.
Yeah, because everything at A24 is made for $2.
Right.
So,
exactly. I mean, this is not gonna have no practical special effects or anything. The biggest cut probably going to Pattinson. Yeah. So we'll see. It sounds interesting. It's something I think I would tune in. We'll see if it gets a theatrical release. Well, everything on A24 does.
Yes.
Yes. So we should be good there. No direct to streaming here.
Even things that probably should have went to streaming.
Like what?
Like The Front Room.
What? Yeah, we didn't watch that one. Sorry. Speaking of Colman Domingo, he is going to be making his directorial debut for a film called Scandalous, which I think is, I feel like the name could have been a little more creative, but let me talk about what it is. So this film is going to be about the love affair between Kim Novak and Sammy Davis Jr. I don't know why we would make a film about that, but it's going to star Sydney Sweeney as Kim Novak, and David Johnson, who we like from Alien Romulus, will star as Sammy Davis Jr.
I was excited to see David Johnson in something else again after Alien Romulus, not this.
No.
And I probably won't. But good for Colman Domingo, because he's making waves. He just had the Sing Sing movie that did really good, and I think he was a producer on that. Mm-hmm. And then this will be his directorial debut.
He's also going to be in the Jackson movie. He's playing Joe Jackson.
Yeah, they also made him one of the principals of the Met Gala this year.
They sure did. He's got another big movie coming out too.
Yeah.
That's like a remake of an old movie that we talked about. I don't know if this won't be my first directorial debut movie, but sure, it's fine.
It's autobiographical, so I guess.
But we already know what's gonna happen.
It's easy, but
you just read it on Wikipedia.
I'm just not interested in the love affair between these two people.
No.
So
no.
But
unless they was like Bonnie and Clyde, we ain't know.
Sydney Sweeney was good in Immaculate, so she's a good actress. David Johnson was good in Alien.
Yeah.
I believe he's also in another show. He's in a TV series. Is it Industry?
David Johnson?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
He's from people, because I didn't know him until Alien, but
there's a movie.
People knew who he was.
Okay.
Yes, he's also from Industry.
Oh, you're right. There's a rom-com that he's in that I have bookmarked that I want to watch. I think it's on Apple,
A lot of Industry people keep popping up. Harry Lottie, who was Harvey Dent in Joker, is also from Industry as well.
Oh.
So, a lot of Industry people popping up.
No comment.
And Kit Harington is in Industry.
Is he?
Who was...
yes, from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Right. Okay. We'll see how this checks out. I'm curious of the chatter around this because movies about love affairs from people that are no longer living are always interesting to me. Like, they can't defend themselves. They dead.
Are, and I'm sure race is going to play a big factor in that.
Right.
So.
Well, I'm assuming Kim Novak is no longer with us. I actually don't know. Sorry. Anyway, she's alive, and I'm hoping if she is alive, hope she gave clearance to make this movie about her.
Kim Novak is 91, so she is still here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. I wonder if she gave the thumbs up about this or not, and if Sammy Davis Jr. family was like, sure, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, going on to our next movie, Dijmon Hounsou and Laura Lavera.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's her name. Now we know who Dijmon Hounsou is, so I ain't about to go down his list. But Lauren is from Terrifier 2 and 3, which I have not seen.
I've seen Terrifier 2. She's the main girl in Terrifier.
Okay, and she must make it because she's in the next one.
She must make it through
the 2.
She's in she made it through 2. I don't know if she made it through 3.
Gotcha. So they are set to star in a Darren Lynn Bousman movie, and the reason why I named the director, one, because he's the director, but he is from Saw 2 through 4 and Spiral, and they're going to start a new horror movie called The Monster, which is about 2 people who make quick money by leasing apartments they don't own to people who don't know they're being scammed. That's like a perfect horror movie setup because it's kind of like our 2 main characters are already deserving whatever they get. But anywho, the con works until they run into an apartment owner with a dark secret who flips the game on them. I don't think we've seen Dijmon Hounsou in an actual horror. Have you?
Closest I've seen him in a horror was Quiet Place.
I was gonna say, is A Quiet Place the darkest he's gone? And Lauren,
I've seen, yeah.
Obviously, is from Terrifier, so she kind of know the game.
Her movie's doing pretty well.
They said that people were buying tickets. Teenagers were buying tickets to Wild Robot to then go see Terrifier because they was too young.
They do that all the time.
I was like, well, good for Wild Robot.
Yeah, they do that all the time.
They get the money. So if that's the movie you're gonna pick, I mean, they could have picked Transformers instead, but whatever. Lupita, get a check cut.
Yeah, but
this movie sounds interesting. Sounds
like Barbarian a little.
It's giving. Now, was Barbarian like supernatural sinister, or was it just real creepy?
Yeah, and this looks like it's gonna be supernatural.
I was gonna say it's giving supernatural.
Barbarian
sinister.
was about Justin Long, who owned an Airbnb.
Oh, right.
He's a terrible person who owned an Airbnb in this
very similar
awful side of town in Chicago. Okay. He rented it out to a black girl and Bill Skarsgård to use. Yes. But what he did not know, and they did not know, that the previous owner of the house
was like in the basement or something.
Used to had terrible inbred monster children in it.
I recall
that was terrorizing Bill Skarsgård. Well, Bill Skarsgård did not make it, but terrorizing the black girl for the rest of the film.
Okay. Did I not know Bill was in it? Bill be in everything.
He was in it for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
They drew Barrymore to Bill.
Oh, okay. Whoops. Yeah. But he was in it though.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay, so you describe it. This does sound a little bit like Barbarian. As we learn more about this, there's no release date or anything yet. It just got.
You haven't seen any of the Saws.
No, I ain't seen none of this.
Okay, so you haven't seen Spiral either. That was the Chris Rock Samuel
Jackson I've read about Spiral, so I know what happened.
Saw 2 was okay.
Okay.
Saw 3 and 4 were bad.
Oh.
Spiral was a good police procedural movie.
It was middling.
Kind of like 7, but it was a bad Saw movie.
Oh.
It was a terrible Saw
because
film.
It wasn't a lot of torture, right?
Well, it was a lot of torture, but the whole point of Saw is that it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. But the whole point of Jigsaw's plan in Saw is that he tortures people for crimes that they've committed.
Yes.
Not against him personally, but out in the world amongst society.
I knew that
in
part.
Saw, the Jigsaw was dead, so it was a copycat killer. And the whole point of him doing it was he was out for revenge against a bunch of people that had a hand in his dad's murder.
Oh.
So.
Okay. And that's where
that wasn't Chris Rock. It was Chris Rock's partner. who was the villain.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, interesting. Maybe he's fine-tuned his directing.
Hopefully.
We'll see. Okay, and then next up for the movie news we had, which came, I think, out just yesterday. I was like, I can't fit nothing else in this agenda. The Blue Streak movie will be getting a sequel. And if I don't know how the percentage of people listen to this have seen Blue Streak.
I have.
Should be 100% of you.
Yikes.
Have you? You have seen it?
I've seen Blue Streak on VHS at my grandmother's house.
Okay, I was going to say, now, where did you see it? Because this movie it's an old one, y'all. So this movie, the original movie came out in 1999. Mm-hmm. We are 25 years.
I specifically remember watching the Blue Streak.
It's a good, there was an era of comedies that came out with a goofy, funny, where the comedian was like the lead, and he was paired up with like a cop, I don't know, some official of some sort, or somebody who was dumber than him, and they were off doing like, it was like a buddy comedy funny situation, and they all had great soundtracks.
Yeah,
like Blue Streak.
Yeah,
had a pretty good soundtrack.
Even like
what's our other
Predator
Rush Hour
2? They turned Predator 2 with Danny Glover into like a buddy cop.
Oh, did they?
Comedy action film.
Okay. So Blue Streak starred Martin Lawrence and Luke Wilson.
Yes. And
Martin played a jewel thief who was trying to break into a police station because a jewel that he had hidden before he got arrested during a previous stakeout or whatever, he hid it, and then when he got out of jail, what he hid it in ended up getting turned into a police station.
Yes.
And the whole movie was basically about him trying to get into the police station. He like fakes being a cop. It's actually pretty fun. I wonder if it's still funny today. I'm assuming it is.
I can imagine it's probably a bunch of inappropriate jokes.
Of course. Like Rush Hour. It was just like, this would not work today. Now this having a sequel is interesting because
why so long now? And
well, that's one.
The jewel can't still be worth a lot of money.
2, well, he got it at the end of the movie.
I mean, yeah.
Spoiling it. I mean, it's 25 years old. If you ain't seen it, not my fault.
Yeah, so what is he still doing?
He got the jewel at the
money?
end and got away. Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of like, is he going to come? He's 25 years older. Is he coming back?
And he can't because the way the movie ended was that he crossed, I think
in Mexico.
Yes, he crossed the international line, which maybe the laws were different because you can totally extradite somebody from Mexico.
It's a movie.
Right?
It's a comedy. You ain't got to
maybe maybe it was different in 99. Now that I think about it, I was like, they could have clearly shot him.
Yeah, I think in the last,
him and Luke became friends. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, he crossed the country line.
Yeah,
and they were like, "Oh, we can't pursue you any further, I guess, because we can't go into Mexico."
Right, you can't just reach my hand over and grab you.
It was kind of like the Set It Off ending, but better. But also, now that I think about it, why didn't they go get Jada Pinkett Smith?
I don't go backwards. We're going backwards. I thought about it too. Like,
why was Mexico like off limits in the 90s?
I think he was letting her go. I think that's what it was.
Who, Jada Pinkett Smith?
I think Blair Underwood, right? That's Blair Underwood, right?
No,
Set It Off.
No, it was a white cop and Set It Off.
Oh, what's it?
Blair Underwood.
I'm getting my black movies mixed up.
Was Blair Underwood in Set It Off?
I thought at the very end she's on the bus, and I thought the guy that she was dating on the side was watching her leave, and I always took it as he was he wasn't the cop. Oh, okay.
The cop was the guy from Scrubs.
Okay. The lead attending or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like they let her get away at the end of.
I mean, she was on the bus. And they could have stopped the bus.
Well, and the bus was stuck in traffic.
They also could have went to Mexico to go get her, but I guess you couldn't go to Mexico in the 90s. So
maybe not. We'll never know.
But
you're right. They could have grabbed him in Blue Streak. The point is, I don't know why he would come back.
Yeah, I don't know why he would come back.
So this being a sequel is kind of like
because it wasn't even like he was that good of a thief that they needed to bring him back to make him like an informant for something.
No,
I don't know how many people are running out
2 decades.
I don't know how many people are running out to go see Luke Wilson.
Well, they haven't said he's coming back, so right now it's just Martin.
Okay, maybe the Blue Streak is in Mexico now.
No,
Azul Streak.
No. Don't do that either. We actually don't have any other plot. We don't have any plot details about this movie. All we know is the sequel's in the works. Martin Lawrence is coming back, and that's about it. They haven't even said Luke Wilson is coming back. So this is early in development.
This is good for Martin Lawrence, though.
Yeah.
Will Smith has that movie potentially coming out.
Right.
With Michael Bay, and Martin Lawrence said, "Don't forget about me." So
if he should at least do a cameo.
And this is Martin Lawrence's own thing.
Exactly.
This was his thing in the 90s.
I'd rather something than nothing.
Yes.
Like this, they could have made an original movie, but they trying to get all of us that like Blue Streak a lot on the nostalgia bait. So
sure.
I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
All right. So that is the movie news for this week. Let's roll into the trailer park.
Toot toot. Beep beep.
We finally got a Daredevil Born Again trailer.
Kind of.
Minutes after we closed out our episode last week and said we had no Daredevil news.
Literally.
So, the Daredevil trailer was presented at New York Comic-Con this past weekend. It was strange. I don't know if they officially released it.
No, somebody was recording it on their phone.
But they let the leaked trailer video stay up. They're still up. Like multiple people just recorded the entire screen.
Yes, because typically you'll see the takedown notices flying on the internet. But no, this one stayed up.
So what does this trailer look like? It looks like Netflix Daredevil.
Okay, which is good.
Which I think is a plus.
Which everybody wanted.
Netflix Daredevil is the most well-liked of the Netflix Marvel shows.
I've heard.
And whenever people talk about Netflix series, Netflix Daredevil constantly comes back up.
Always.
People are constantly talking about that one hallway action sequence.
The long take scene.
In the entire 3 seasons of the series.
My God, it's so funny.
It looks like they're going to give everybody more of that. More long hallways, more broken bones, more fight sequences.
Charlie Cox has said that this is going to be... I don't particularly like the angle that everybody's doing this now. If it's going to be so many F-bombs and it's going to be so violent and we're going to be chopping up bodies and cutting off heads. I'm like, y'all ain't let me watch it.
Do it.
You ain't got to tell me about it.
Do it and see if it helps with what you are looking for, viewership-wise or money-wise.
Right.
And then you'll have a definitive answer if
I'm
that's
not
what
just here for heads getting chopped off.
So.
I want a good storyline. I want good characters. Like the blood and guts is not most important to me.
So, yeah, everybody that was in the original Daredevil Netflix series seems to be coming back for this. We have Charlie Cox as Daredevil, Vincent D'Onofrio. We have the same Karen and Foggy actors. We have some...
After the outrage, they are also back.
We have Frank Grillo.
Yep.
No, is it Frank Grillo or is it somebody else? No,
I think
Frank Grillo is Crossbones.
Yes, he's back.
That's not Crossbones. That's the Punisher. They look very similar.
Too many characters that look alike.
This actor who plays Marvel Netflix Punisher is John Bernthal, not Frank Grillo. They do look very similar, though.
Thank you. I was about to say, now something else
and they do
similar.
sound very similar.
Okay.
But he's going to be returning as the Punisher. It looks like it's going to be a requel. So it'll take place after Netflix Daredevil. But the things that took place in Netflix Daredevil don't matter unless they choose to reference it in this show.
And you don't have to have seen the previous Daredevil series to watch this. So they're treating
the previous Daredevil series like a salad bar. So they're just picking and choosing the things that they want and then leaving the rest.
That's what they overdoing in DC. So I mean, if it work, it work.
That's the new reboot formula. Everything's a requel now because they don't want to completely erase the good things that they did, but they want you to forget about all the bad things that they did.
It's only canon if we mention it in the next project, and you're like, okay, sure.
Right. So it looks like there's gonna be not everybody's going to be on a clean slate, but everybody's going to know each other. Kingpin and Daredevil are going to know each other.
Correct.
And their identities are already not going to be a secret to each other. They are going to be aware of their alter egos. Well, I guess Kingpin doesn't have an alter ego, but they're going to be aware of Matt Murdock's alter ego.
Right.
I liked the different suits.
Okay.
Clearly, he's been Daredevil for a while.
He's been in service.
He has like a devil cave.
He's been in service for a minute, which... I like that we're already established. I don't need origin story. If you're telling me I don't have to watch the first series, then don't start from the beginning. Just, pick us up as if we already had watched.
I like the different colored helmets. Means he's got different colored suits. Somebody pointed out and said, why don't they just put the double D's on his chest for Daredevil?
Oh.
But I don't know why he's against branding, but he doesn't have his symbol. He just looks like a guy in a Daredevil suit, but not with like the branding.
He don't need it.
It's weird.
We know he is.
But it's weird. It is weird. Because it's kind of like Batman without the bat suit.
But Batman don't... Oh, well.
Because we know who Batman is. But if you see him without the bat suit, it's like, Batman, you're naked.
Okay.
So
you're Bruce.
Where's your symbol? Right.
You're Bruce.
Without your symbol, you look like Bruce in a suit. So where is Batman?
Or you Superman without the L.
So I don't know why they don't just give him the DDs.
Maybe he gets it during the course of the series. I don't know why, but, something might happen.
Maybe hope we get a She-Hulk cameo.
Everybody's been. There's a couple of people been saying that.
Other.
I would like a She-Hulk a little, and somebody was like, "Oh, they can't. They don't want to pay for the CGI. She can show up as herself. I mean, it's Jen.
Yeah, they've solidified that she can go back and forth.
Yeah, so. I would like that quite a lot actually.
Yeah. So on Echo, I wonder if Echo may show up because Kingpin. I mean, she's a big character in both of theirs. Both of those storylines.
I would say both of those. I would prefer.
And we know that she kind of wants him dead now. So also,
she should.
Yes. So Daredevil Born Again looks good. This comes out Disney Plus March 4th, 2025. Mm-hmm. It is going to have, I believe, 9 episodes.
Yes. It's very. Remember when it was supposed to have like 24 episodes?
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "Oh my God, we're getting so much," and then Disney was like, "Actually, that's too much, y'all. That's too much."
And it runs into they need people to stop watching Disney Plus so they can go to the movie theater. So
right.
They can't just have it run
that would have been a
weeks.
Very long they do that on network television. That is not working on streaming. People would die off at about the halfway mark.
The patience would run out.
Yeah, because you would have to stretch the story too far to have 25 episodes.
Yeah.
Unless you're chopping it into 2 seasons. Then fine. Sure.
Next stop on the trailer park is for Love Hurts. This is a Kiki Kwan first starring role film. And he's going to be joined by Ariana DeBose, who we just saw in Argyle.
Yeah, you're right.
That was the last movie we saw her in, right?
You're correct.
Argyle? Yeah.
I can think of it. Yes.
Sure. Okay, so this comes out February 7th, 2025, right around Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
I think the week before.
Oh, I didn't even put that together.
Yeah.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be an action film, romance, action, comedy film.
Did you think it was going to be romance? I just got straight up action.
I think it's going to be romance because he's clearly still in love with Ariana DeBose. It looks kind of like Deadpool.
I couldn't tell if they were like partners or if they were like former lovers. So I guess we should run down what the movie is about. So Kiki Kwan currently he's a real estate agent, and he ends up getting attacked by some assassins because in his former life, he was also an assassin, and he let Ariana mixing up names. Ariana DeBose go because, I mean, we don't know the details, but he let her go. His brother, who was still in the crime business, was upset about it, finds and wants to track him down and find him. So he has to do his best long kiss goodnight where he snaps out of it. Yeah, he hasn't forgotten. Doesn't have amnesia, but he does this moment in the trailer where he it clicks on that he needs to do his John Wick fighting. Yeah. And it's more of it starts to be like an action-y movie from there.
This looks fun.
It does look entertaining. It's like a fun flick.
I'm not sure if it's going to make our agenda or not, because I think we already have the first chunk of 2025 already written out.
Yeah, I know the weekend after this is Captain America. I don't know what the weekend before this is. But
okay, so maybe. It does look fun. It does look funny. I like Kiki Kwan. Good for him. He does good in action. It looks like it's going to have some really fun action sequences.
It's giving John Wick.
It looks extremely bloodless and low stakes.
Okay, there was no blood. Now that you think about it,
wasn't.
It was a lot of hitting.
Even though he got into a full fight with 2 assassins, nobody died.
There was a lot of hand-to-hand combat, but you're right, no blood.
So it looks like it'll be a fun time at the movies.
They probably do that because they want it to be PG-13, so it could reach a wider audience.
I mean, Venom ate 3 people's heads.
But we ain't seen no blood, though.
We saw their heads being removed.
But you ain't seen no blood.
Okay. Next stop on the trailer park is for The Agency. This is a Paramount Plus series that is going to debut on November 29th, 2024. It is going to star Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, Richard Gere, Catherine Waterston. So, what is this about? It is about an espionage thriller set within the department responsible for training and handling deep cover agents on long-term missions who live under false identities for years, aiming to identify and recruit intelligence sources.
That is the most vague description of a TV show I've ever heard of in my life.
So, is this the synopsis from the site?
Wikipedia.
Okay, so what the trailer is telling me is that Michael Fassbender was pulled from deep cover and had to abandon his love, and that is coming into conflict with who he is and who he wants to be with. Yeah. So
I was like, because when I read the synopsis, I was expecting a man who was under CIA deep cover.
The synopsis
reunites with the love of his life, and it causes internal struggle. But I was like, So is it about everybody or just about Michael Fassbender?
The synopsis just kind of explains where he works, but not
it
what
literally
the movie
describes a generic CIA movie.
Yes.
I was like, this ain't very specific, y'all.
So Michael Fassbender was deep cover.
Yeah, apparently.
In his deep coverness, he was also in a relationship with Jodie Turner-Smith, who did not know who he really was.
Correct.
And when he was pulled from cover, he had to abandon her.
Yeah.
And now that she is in danger, it seems.
Oh, that's what you got. Okay.
It seems like she is in some type of danger. Somebody's shooting at somebody.
Oh, right.
And he has to
save her life or something?
Yes, but jeopardizing the fact that he is a deep cover agent by revealing to her
his actual identity.
My undeep coverness.
Yeah, it seemed when I was like, I'm surprised. I mean, this cast list is stacked. And I was like, what is this doing on Paramount Plus? Because ain't nobody watching that.
It reminded me of The Killer, which we just saw, Michael Mann. It looks like exactly like The Killer. It doesn't have the same synopsis.
The Killer was David Fincher. But you was in the right range.
Yes, David Fincher. Mm-hmm. Yes. Not Michael Mann. We watched that. We reviewed it on the show. We both agreed it was well acted. Had some fun action sequences, but it was boring.
And the ending was like, oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay, I could have saved my time.
He just went, killed the guy, killed Tilda Swinton, and his wife got better. And
lived
they just
happily
went to live
ever
their lives.
after.
But we had to deal with so much slowness in between.
It was pretty slow. This
well
seems
acted.
more action-y, but
Yes.
I was just kind of like, I don't know. This could have...
It looks like...
Does this need to be a
what's
series?
that Amazon show? It looks like Citadel.
Okay.
The trailer in this kind of like the trailers in Citadel.
Okay. This don't seem like it's going to be advertised very well.
It does look a little bit dry, only because, and they shouldn't have opened with this. So the trailer opens with Michael Fassbender talking about all the ways that they are James Bond without being as cool looking as James Bond. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, oh, okay, so that's the issue here. You're missing the thing. That's because when you boil James Bond down to it, James Bond himself is kind of just like a regular person with a whole bunch of gadgets.
Well, I mean, he can fight really well.
I mean, he can fight really well,
he
but
got a high pain tolerance.
What makes, if you take away like all of the cool things that he's given by the agency, he's kind of just like a Michael Fassbender.
Yeah,
I guess running around without a special car or a watch that can do special tricks.
Pulling all the latest.
Yes, but what makes it fun is the spectacle of the James Bondness.
You're right,
yes.
in the Bond girls.
So yes,
I will say this series looks as vague as the description that is on the Wikipedia page.
Yes.
So I don't know how this one gonna pan out. If you tune in, let us know.
And choosing not to advertise something that comes out a month out on a streaming show that is not extremely popular.
It's got freaking Jeffrey Wright in it. I don't understand. I mean, Michael Fassbender's up there too, but it's like you got two kind of like
Richard Gere, I guess.
You got several A-list stars, and you just kind of on the show like, here's a new show, y'all. Enjoy, but whatever.
Speaking of new shows we will enjoy, shows coming back that we enjoy. Severance Season 2 finally gave us a trailer. Severance is an Apple TV Plus original series. Mm-hmm. This is going to be the second season that's going to premiere on January 17th, 2025.
So excited.
Where did Severance end off? Do we want to just do Severance Season 1 spoilers?
We can put in the notes that's going to be a spoiler and flash it on the YouTube video.
So
we are about to spoil Severance Season 1, y'all.
Severance Season 1 spoilers. So the last episode of Severance ended off where they revealed, hold on, let me get the character cast list up.
And we got time codes. So if you want to skip this, you can just hit the little button and do a little fast forward.
So Mark.
Yes.
Mark, Haley, Irving, and Dylan all got out. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. They got out with their innie memories. So their innies got out.
Yes.
Out into the real world.
With their Audi memory. No,
the innies got out to go see what their Audi lives were like.
Boom.
Because they had no memories.
There it is.
And we found out that Haley is the Nazi princess. And we found out that Mark's wife is actually alive, but she's also severed. And she's in some part of the company. We don't know where.
We don't even know what they do.
We've only seen her a few times, and it looks like she's kind of works as like a counselor, where her character, her innie is a counselor, but we don't know what they're experimenting on her.
Her being don't seem happy at all.
They're doing something very ominous with her.
Yes.
But the episode ends where Mark realizes that she's alive, and the season 2 trailer pops up where Mark is back in the elevator. It looks like we're with his innie again, innie Mark. And he is returning to work, and he has a whole new set of coworkers.
And it seems like he knows that he's at work. The switching didn't seem to have happened.
Well, this is my theory.
Okay.
Because we also get the last shot in the trailer is Milchick.
Yes.
Showing up with balloons, with welcome back balloons.
Calling him Marcus, not Mark, by the way.
And he says, welcome back. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So what I think is that they unsevered him. And
they making him live?
No, Audi Mark was like, no, sever me back again. And he went back just like Helly's Audi did.
I see.
So I think there's been a time jump.
Okay.
But Annie Mark does not know that because they only have memories of when the elevator door opens.
Got you.
So I think it's been a time jump.
Okay.
And he returned to work. He chose to return to
his
work.
Audi was like, I don't care what the Annie says.
And now the Annie is very confused, like, why am I back here? Because I just learned all the truth.
just like, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good theory.
Because that is exactly what happened to Helly.
That was
because
crazy.
She left, and then her Audi made her a tape like, I get that you're trying to leave, but that's not the life I want to live.
No.
So
right. Like, you
crazy.
Are me, and I'm telling you what to do.
Which was super crazy.
Such a good if you have not seen Severance season 1, go watch it. Like, there's so much that, I mean, we spoiled the end, but there's so much that happens in the show to explain how the end is such a huge impact. Definitely need to watch it because we are definitely going to be talking about this on the podcast when season 2 drops.
One of the greatest season finales ever.
Stressful.
Just so stressful.
I was stressed watching it, like, oh my God.
And when you go back to the doctor who performed the surgeries to unsever people.
Yes.
Because we only got like her in 2 episodes and she never came back.
Interesting.
But clearly the procedure worked.
You're right.
But it drives some people crazy. So.
Right. And who are these new people?
I'm interested to see that too.
I want to know what the heck are they doing at the company.
And if it's been a time jump, how long has it been?
Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't want to know. Hopefully only like a year or so. That's still a long time.
Excited for Severance season 2. We've been waiting on this for a while. I can't remember when the last season was, but it was a couple of years ago.
Very long. Because we caught on to it after the fact.
Yeah, we caught on to it way after because Apple doesn't advertise any of its shows. So,
although
they are heavily advertised in chapters 1 through 4, which I need to really look at. So
interesting.
I keep seeing ads for it all of a sudden. Maybe that's targeted.
They've been made some money off them last Apple sales.
Last stop on the trailer park is For One of Them Days. We previously talked about this a couple episodes ago about Keke Palmer and SZA teaming up for an Issa Rae production for a buddy comedy, and we finally got a trailer for it. Yeah. Dropped out of nowhere.
Sure did.
Because this was just announced like a couple months ago.
Listen, they filmed this in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so and that's fine. So this comes out January 24th, 2025. This is going to be about best friends and roommates Drew, spelled with an X, Keke Palmer, and Alyssa, who's played by SZA, are about to have one of them days where basically
everything goes to crap.
Basically, the rent is due. One of them has blown the money on something irresponsible.
SZA's character.
The rent is due, and they have to get enough money. I think it's $1,500, $1,600, $700.
I remember.
They have to get an unreasonable amount of rent for where they live, somewhere in California.
Yes.
Before they get evicted. And the movie is just going to be us following them through different hijinks as they try to accumulate the correct amount of money in order to make rent for the month.
And somehow through the course of the day, somebody's after them to kill them.
Yes.
I don't know how that get thrown in there, but that is also in the trailer.
So a lot of people identified when this trailer came out that it looks like Friday. And it is.
It's Friday. it's
Friday.
A little Friday for sure.
It's an updated version of Friday. It stars 2 actresses instead of actors.
Right.
We will have a different character playing the big worm character.
Yes, who I guess is the guy who's trying to kill them in the trailer.
Who's trying to kill them. I guess they owe him money as well.
I'm going to assume some backdoor deal didn't work out. Yeah. They was trying to get money for. Now he's like, I need it.
It looks like they have an older aunt, grandmother, or mother figure who also lives within the complex. Because it takes place within an apartment complex.
Correct.
They have one white resident who moved in. Gentrification wasn't a big thing in Friday.
Exactly. So they had to add that.
Gentrification is part of the factor here.
There we go. She's like the 2024 modern version of that. So yes.
Yeah. It looks funny.
It does look fun. I mostly laughed at Cat Williams' parts, but it does look pretty funny.
And the irony of Cat Williams being in this because he was also in Friday.
He sure was.
Cat Williams seems to play a homeless person in this movie who is, or at least somebody who does not have any money, who is trying to coerce the girls to not get a payday loan.
I think he's one of those people that stand outside with the signs and does like the flipping and the turning.
Oh, is that what he is?
I think that's what he was doing outside. Yes.
So he's going to be playing a side character in this. He had the funniest lines.
I hope he's in it more than what we saw in the trailer.
Yeah, most of his lines that we saw in the trailer is him basically just begging them to leave the payday loan place.
But he says it, and it's like he's trying to tell them to leave outside the window of the place. But it's like he's trying to tell them.
Probably because they won't let him in.
Right, probably because they won't let him in, even though he's working there. But also, he's giving like sound correct advice to them, and they won't listen.
If you don't have the rent this month, you're not gonna have it next month.
Right, and then at the end of the trailer, he's like, "Please, just leave."
Which is true. If you are struggling like this to get rent for this month,
right,
you're gonna be
loans,
doing it again next month.
Payday loans are not good, y'all. They still not good.
It's either time to get a new job or move.
Right.
So it looks like it's gonna be funny.
It looks pretty funny.
Excited to see this.
We haven't had one of these in a while. Like two black actresses just having a lot of hijinks.
No, we haven't.
I'm trying to think. No. So this is releasing in January, which is not the best month for movies, but hopefully people go out and to support it, unlike The Book of Clarence, which they did not support, which came out in January.
They didn't. And I think The Blackening is still supposed to be getting a sequel too. I was trying to think of the last like black comedy that
came out in June. I think that came around Juneteenth.
And I think The Blackening did well in the box office.
I think it did.
Cheap. And this looks cheap. So
should be $2.
Great.
$2.
Great choices all around.
Right. So hopefully we get at least another trailer or two before it comes out, because this gonna need to promote, because people always say, I didn't know this was coming out.
Yeah.
Put some trailers out, y'all.
All right, that is the last stop on the trailer park. Let's dive into Buncha Crunch.
All right, at the top of our 2 boxes of Buncha Crunch, we have some DC news. Production for the DC movie Supergirl is going to start in January, and that is going to star Millie, I almost call her Millie Bobby Brown. Wrong chick, y'all. Millie, how do you say her last name?
Alcock? Yes. She's from House of the Dragon. She's like from the first half before they aged her up and replaced the actress.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Well, now she's Supergirl. And that's a pretty big character. So she's getting her own movie now. So this production is going to start early next year. This will be the second film from the DC comic, the new revamped DCU universe.
Yes.
So, we get Superman and then we get Supergirl. Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like we should have stuck something else in between them two. But what do I know?
Who knows? Who knows what the vision is over there?
But they can't do Batman because we about to get Batman, Matt Reeves Batman, right?
Who knows what the vision is over there?
It's a very interesting situation over there at DC. But Superman looks like it's gonna be good. Supergirl, we'll see. We don't know yet. And then also for DC News, reportedly a live-action Teen Titans movie. You already know I'm going to say at the end of this. Teen Titans movie will begin filming sometime late in 2025. This is rumored. James Gunn ain't denied it or confirmed it, so that means it could be true. Could be. He usually debunks things that are not true.
They usually do the same things at the same time.
Okay.
MCU's doing Young Avengers. DC's doing their Teen Titans. It's a race. It's a race to the who's going to do
Young
the Avengers
crowd.
or Justice League first all over again.
What am I about to say about this?
That is anybody going to see it, or if it's better than the show?
Where is Batman Beyond?
It's not coming.
Where is it?
Batman Beyond isn't happening.
Why are we doing Teen Titans? I don't want Teen Titans.
Batman Beyond isn't happening.
I don't want Teen Titans. Do you hear me? I don't want it. Give me Batman Beyond. I don't care about no kids. I don't care about these kids.
Not happening.
We already did Teen Titans.
We did. We did a show.
The show.
Several seasons, which means you gave people several opportunities to watch it, and they chose not to.
Right. And then the writing was a little kooky. But,
yeah.
Anywho, that's our DC news for the Buncha Crunch. I'm going on to the next thing, which is Chad Stahelski is saying that there's a John Wick anime in development that is a prequel to the movies that have already come out.
Nope, you can keep it.
We are running John Wick into the ground.
I'm just gonna ignore.
We are officially there.
Yeah, I'm gonna ignore everything about John Wick from now on. Because if you guys refuse to put it to rest, I'm going to pretend it's dead.
I just don't. We don't need this. We don't need this.
Yeah.
Y'all just stop it.
It's way too much John Wick content.
Coming out so
somebody
soon.
Somebody said the best part about John Wick is the mystery. A lot of things you don't know in the world, and they're filling in too many blanks. And you're ruining the espionage by putting in too many parts of it. Espionage is supposed to be about secrecy.
Right. Like 4 movies is a lot. And now we got 2 prequels. No, we got a prequel. That's the anime.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Donnie Yen spinoff. We got Ballerina spinoff. And then I think they're probably going to do another John Wick movie. I bet. I just don't taint a good thing, y'all.
I think they're also trying to jump on the anime wave. Anime in the West.
By the time this is out, we gonna have moved on to something.
Anime in the West is blowing back up into mainstream. So anime is no longer niche. Everybody likes anime now. So
and by the time this come out, everybody gonna be like, anime was so 2024.
That's true.
Oh my god.
There'll be some new type of animation. We'll all be wearing VR headsets.
No, I don't want that either. My neck is not built for that.
You know what? I would used to think there's a world when we would never be walking around in the real world with VR headsets, but
we still not.
2 people just rode past me yesterday on electric bicycles doing no pedaling. So
that's different though.
We will always cheat. As a society, we will always find ways to do the same things that we've always loved doing with the least amount of effort.
Y'all stop running John Wick into the ground is my note on that piece of crunch. Next up, we had Patrick Dempsey finally started to do some chatter about Scream 7. He said that he has not seen a script, but he has had talks about returning for Scream 7.
That's good.
So, I mean, I feel
if
like
he doesn't, they're going to recast him.
Listen. After all the hubbub about this, they need to be and brag everybody they can.
Yeah.
So everybody can be like, oh, it's Patrick. I'll come back.
In the last 2 movies, they solidified that she has 2 children, at least.
Right.
Girls.
And a husband who is not coming out the house.
And a husband named Mark, who is
not
the same.
Coming out the
right.
House.
A husband who is a cop. The cop husband
because he's smart.
Sends the writer wife to go fight Ghostface.
He like, I'm not gonna hold you back, Sydney.
The last job we saw Sydney had was she was a book writer.
Listen,
so
he probably be trying to tell her to stay at home, and Sydney be like, I gotta
go
help.
/ Ghostface Slayer.
Listen,
but I think that's smart because the character exists. They've said his name twice in both in the last 2 Scream movies. So, and he was just in that Thanksgiving movie, so he's not above slashers. He can come back into the slasher fold.
No. Patrick Dempsey seems like a down for the party.
And he might live. I don't know how many more Sydney's family members they would kill. They wouldn't kill her daughters.
If they kill him, that would be very annoying.
It would be very
Y'all
annoying.
Bring him on the movie to kill him?
Yeah.
We don't have no plot details about this movie, by the way, because it probably got scrapped when they had that whole hubbub.
But if Patrick Dempsey's back as Mark Kincaid, I think that would be fun.
I mean, they got to. I feel
like
they
killed the one other cop, so he's the only cop left on the cast list.
On the whole, the whole town. No more cops.
Fired Dewey and killed him, so he's the only cop left.
So as we learn more about Scream 7, we will most certainly be discussing it.
I wonder where they live.
The podcast. Probably upstate New York. That's where everybody lives. Right before you get to like no man's land, they probably live there.
I'm trying to think of places where Scream hasn't taken place. Took place in Ohio,
Colorado.
Took place in California,
Texas.
Texas
too populous. They got to be somewhere that's.
I thought New York was too populous, but
yeah. Well, they shouldn't have moved there. No way. I don't know why they moved to New York City.
They can move back to New York. I'd be okay with that.
I can't see Sydney going to New York. Would she do that?
I don't know where Sydney would live.
They're going to be somewhere obscure, like upstate New York.
I actually don't know where Sydney would
Maine.
live. Because she tried living at home, on campus, in the woods. In a regular residential
It's like
neighborhood.
That scene in The Godfather. Every time I get out, they pulling me back in.
In a fortress.
Right.
So
in a dungeon somewhere.
Next scoop of crunch is Beef Season 2 officially got its cast announced. So they just officially announced the cast.
Which we kind of already knew.
Was unofficially announced months ago. So we have official announcement of Oscar Isaac, Carey Mulligan, Charles Melton, and Kaylee Spaney turning up for Beef Season 2. I love how they changed it to it's now the critically acclaimed anthology series. And it was like, no, it's the critically acclaimed acclaimed regular series. We're going to see if it's a critically acclaimed anthology series after the season.
Right. There's only been one season of Beef.
Y'all changed genres after y'all realized the awards was better in the anthology circuit.
Right. And Beef also had its casting issues.
Yeah, Beef also had its internal beef. So
right. So I wonder if they switched up to be an anthology. Like, girl, we got to start over. So yeah, interesting.
So we're going to read the synopsis because this is exactly what Cheryl said she hoped it wouldn't be. And I said it is going to be. So the season is going to be about a couple who witnesses a fight between their boss and his wife, triggering chess moves and coercion in the world of a country club. And its Korean billionaire owner, Blade, is taken. Wait, what? What's going on with these notes?
Forgot the text.
It was like, Blade is Korean.
Wait.
My God.
I forgot to hit enter in our notes, and the notes was jamming together. You can. I kind of jacked that whole part of it.
Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna read the synopsis again.
Please do. That's how I fix our notes.
It follows a couple who witnesses a fight between his boss and his wife, triggering chess moves and coercion in the world of a country club and its Korean billionaire owner. Blade is not in this.
Blade is
neither is
Blade
Marvel
is not
Cinematic
part
Universe.
of Beef too. Sorry guys. Sorry about that.
Somebody's gonna have an affair.
Of course, which is what I didn't want.
It's difficult. Somebody's gotta have an affair.
I like all of these people. I have not actually seen Charles Melton in anything, but he got a lot of acclaim from the movie he was in with Natalie Portman not too long ago. Where
Who?
It was the play off the
What actor?
teacher that's sleeping with the student movie.
What actor?
Charles Melton.
Oh yes, yes.
I haven't seen him in anything, but the rest of the cast sounds good. I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I want to watch this because I don't want to watch no affair.
It's gonna be about an affair.
Fine,
Yeah.
whatever. Like you said, we'll see if it's still critically acclaimed after this.
Shout out to everybody involved. Everybody's working. Oscar Isaac,
Sure.
Carey Mulligan. I don't know if she's got anything coming up, but she was in Promising Young Women, which went to the Oscars.
Right.
Charles Melton. People want him to be the new American Psycho.
Okay.
And the Luca Guadagnino remake.
Sure.
And Kelly Spaney's got other work coming up. So
she's booking busy.
Shout out to her.
Good for her.
Yeah. Next scoop of crunch. Blade is taken off the Marvel Cinematic Universe release calendar.
This is not funny. I'm only laughing because I messed up our notes. Shocker.
It's not surprising.
Nobody's shocked about this.
No.
I mean, the movie was not coming out this year because there's already 3 other Marvel movies coming out. I think Blade will make it out into the wild for us to see on a movie theater screen. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be Mahershala or not.
Probably not.
But I think they should either just scrap it because it's not working or introduce Blade and something else first. If they want to have that
And that was Eternals.
No. I mean, like, not more than his voice. That don't count. They need to have a full-fledged, kind of how they did, I told you this already, how they did Spider-Man and T'Challa, where they showed up like full-fledged in another movie. They should do that with Blade.
I don't know what's on the slate that he would, because Blade's like a Dark Universe character, Dark Marvel Universe character.
I didn't say I had a good suggestion for that, but
he doesn't pop out for Thanos. He pops out for like the underworld.
He could be in a TV show. Stick him in a TV show to introduce him. Stick him in Daredevil. I don't know what.
I think it's too overpowered for Daredevil.
Listen, I'd rather them make this work than put out crap. So if crap is what was left and they were like, we got to move it, then I'm okay with that.
I'm glad that we can stop talking about anticipating it and we can stop talking about worrying about it because now it's off the slate.
Right. And we can stop crying about where's Blade, where's Blade, where's Blade.
No one will know.
And by we, I mean, I'm including myself in that.
Yes.
Because now we don't know.
We don't know.
And you know
we may
what?
never know.
It may never come.
With that comes peace.
Right. It may, and that's okay. There are 12 other projects that Marvel needs to flesh out, and we can do those 12 instead. Yes. I'm fine.
And a bunch of loose ends that they still have the opportunity to tie up. So there's other things that they could be doing.
I have made a whole thread post of things that we could do outside of Blade.
Other things that people can be doing. Speaking of which, Tom Holland, he is doing other things, that is being in a Christopher Nolan film alongside Matt Damon.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Agents. needs a raise.
So, Tom Holland is going to be in the new Christopher Nolan film that we don't have solid information about plot-wise now. Originally, it was announced that it was going to be a period horror film based on vampires that take place in the 1920s, which I was okay with because we just said we wanted Christopher Nolan to get back into his weird bag.
I did think vampires was a little weird, but I was like, sure.
He won his Oscar.
Well, not weird, but I thought it was a bit out of the box for Christopher Nolan to do vampires. I was like, huh.
Yeah, because a lot of Christopher Nolan stuff is like not in your face weird.
Yeah.
This is in your face
like the
weird.
Prestige was about musicians, but you didn't really realize that it was like some real kind of sinister stuff going on towards the end. But they were like not vampires.
You can't be obscure about vampires.
Exactly.
And all his stuff is obscure. So.
Exactly. So I was like, oh. Okay, and I mean, sure, sounds good.
That was the original rumor.
Yeah.
The other rumor is that it's gonna be about a buddy action thriller about two aerial helicopter pilots in the future. A younger pilot and his an older mentor and a younger pilot.
So Green Lantern, basically, without the superpowers.
I guess.
I prefer not this one.
I prefer the vampire one.
I prefer the vampires.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, a mix of the two. Mash them together.
Vampire aerial cops in the 1920s?
Make it work. He can make it work, but I agree with you. I don't want anything grounded.
No,
I need
nothing
supernatural, sci-fi.
Aerial helicopter cops in the future sounds still too grounded.
It sounds like a Tom Cruise movie, Minority Report.
It does sound like Minority Report.
A little bit.
It doesn't say they can see the future.
Shit, what else they doing?
If it's not going to be better than Minority Report, then just do the vampire one. But
those are two very different plots. Not even on the same, like, how do we get two different rumors like this?
Yeah.
Somebody is lying.
We're getting a lot of vampire stuff. This, maybe. Sinners, Nosferatu, Neverblade.
Yeah. The one that everybody wants is not coming.
The one that started all the vampire talk.
Exactly. I have some speculation on why Blade's not working, but that could take a whole episode.
Tom Holland is also still going to be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 4 officially got a release date. This is going to come out July 24th, 2026, which is going to be 1 week after his Nolan movie release on July 17th.
Somebody's moving.
Nolan.
Oh, you think so?
Spider-Man is one of the highest grossing superhero films in superhero solo films.
Well,
consistently.
True.
And in China.
And the reason why they can't be back to back is because what Nolan does do is lock up IMAX screens.
And what Disney don't do
is give up IMAX.
Exactly. Disney's like,
somebody gonna have to do something.
Disney's gonna be like, you thought you had WB, Chris.
WB
ain't never coming over here.
WB ain't no
the
Disney.
Way Disney is about to treat you.
Like Tom Cruise versus Christopher Nolan, that fine. But Disney versus
I think people are
Nolan?
underestimating the availability of premium screens for Gladiator because Moana will be out.
Oh yeah.
And Disney does not play
people
about premium screens.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So the showings for Moana is going to be eating those premium screens up, regardless if people are going to be seeing them or not.
I think Moana about to blow Gladiator and Wicked out the water.
Oh, definitely. But yeah. So Disney does not play when it comes to premium.
So this will be interesting of who's going to blink first because there's no way.
It'll absolutely be Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And also, Spider-Man's Day is 2 months after Avengers Doomsday. They did that on purpose. Like there's a purpose to that. They didn't they didn't put those two movies that close together for no reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe Spider-Man, Sony and Disney refuse to take L's when it comes to Spider-Man specifically. Oh, yeah. Spider-Man stuff like Venom, sure, throw that to the wolves.
Who cares?
Craven, who cares? But Spider-Man himself, they would never throw Spider-Man to the wolves.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be real Nolan
can't wait to revisit next summer.
I was gonna say Nolan don't play, but it's Disney.
Disney plays less.
They don't play at all. Actually,
they don't.
To be the happiest place on earth, they don't play at all.
The mouse is a gangster.
Pew 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 pew. Okay.
Next on the list is Extraction 3. This is going to begin filming in 2025. Finally. It's going to be the third installment in the Extraction franchise, starring Chris Hemsworth. that goes straight to Netflix, which is a crime.
Yeah.
Russo brothers say they are working on it right now, and Idris Elba is set to return. Duh, that's smart. You put him at the end of the last one.
Yeah, he had a very small role in the second one.
Seems like he's going to be like his M.
Yes, because we don't know who Idris Elba's boss is. Like, he's a representative of his boss that is now taking in Chris Hemsworth to do work. But we don't know who the boss is. I'm happy that we are filming this and we are not just keep pushing this back for other things. So yeah, I'm happy about this. We recommend Extraction 1 and 2 if you have not seen it on Netflix.
Yes, we kind of ragged on the Russo brothers last week, but they do good with Extraction.
I forgot about that.
And
I forgot they did Extraction movies.
It sucks that they don't go to theaters. Because I feel like if Extraction movies went to theaters, they would do
pretty good.
Chris Hemsworth would have the box office that everybody thinks that he needs to have. But
Chris Hemsworth has been in 2 very good movies that have tanked at the box office.
But I think Extraction would do extremely well.
It would. So I hope if he does do Prince Charming, it does pretty well.
So Daniel Craig was right. Netflix's model is crap.
It's pretty poop.
So
I don't like it.
Hey.
But I don't work there.
Call I can see it.
So
there's also going to be 2 new movies going into pre-existing franchises. Well, I guess 3.
Yeah.
We're back in our sci-fi bag.
Listen.
So we are getting a new Planet of the Apes film, which is not surprising, especially if you saw the last one. The way it ended, they clearly set up conflict between the humans coming back and the apes already still existing on the surface and being smart.
Good movie. Do recommend it.
Plan to release November 7th, 2025, taking the former Blade date. That's funny.
I had to throw that in.
We don't have any confirmation or any details on who's going to be in the cast, but I hope it's a follow-up.
You got your movies mixed up. Now, notes is not messed up here. Predator Badlands.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
I was like, did I mess it up
Ran
again?
to a different note. So Planet of the Apes will not be taking Blade's date, but we don't have any information on its plot. It will be released in 2027 officially.
Yeah.
But we don't know if the returning characters are coming back, but they should.
They should. Hopefully they can get the girl back because she was pretty integral. 2027 is a little ways away.
Okay, so let's.
I guess they can film it now and then release it later.
Yeah.
If they needed to.
Yeah. So I hope they do stick to the storyline of the last. I know that a lot of people didn't like this last movie because it wasn't as action packed, and they didn't like the fact that it focused on like a family of characters. But I liked it.
It was good. I liked it.
Also, in our theme of sci-fi franchise revivals, Predator Badlands is a new entry in the Predator franchise.
Yep.
This is going to be released in theaters on Blade's former date, November 7th, 2025. Stars Elle Fanning, Dakota Fanning's sister. Yes. We just saw Dakota in The Watchers.
Yes.
So it's going to follow the bond between 2 sisters whose relationship is put to the test as they go on different paths.
A lot of sibling action in
and
movies
I bet
these
they're
days.
Twins because the only person they've talked about is Elle Fanning.
Yeah.
So
twins, siblings, the monkey.
Twins fighting monsters.
Sinners. Something else probably. It's something else going to come with twins. I'm like, twins again.
What if Matt Damon and Tom Holland are playing the same person?
Okay.
A younger version and an older version.
You're selling me. You're selling me on the helicopter cops with that.
It's like Frequency, but with Minority Report vibes.
I could get on with that, Nolan.
Okay.
But I prefer vampires.
So, so Predator Badlands is going to be a new entry. This is going to follow Prey.
Yes.
Which was the last Predator film, which also had a lead actress in it. Dan Trachtenberg, who is the director of that film. Yeah. And that, I think, went to Hulu.
Yes, straight to Hulu.
This is going to theaters, though.
Correct.
Because they realized that they fumbled.
They should have put Prey on.
Yeah, that was the bad choice.
Oh,
but good movie.
Yes, we recommend Prey.
He also shot a secret Predator film.
How?
As well.
How?
And this was in conjunction with the Predator Badlands film. We don't have details on the plot, but they're not supposed to be the same movie.
So apparently it's releasing before Badlands, which comes out next November, but it's not a sequel to Prey.
And I don't think it has to do with Badlands. It's supposed to be a separate, completely different Predator film.
What about?
And we don't know if it has a tagline. It's just called Predator right now.
Shoot a secret movie? By shooting that, I'm assuming that means it's a live action movie.
Volume.
There is a person. There are other people.
Probably volume.
The whole thing. You know what? This is under Disney, so
we wondered why they were able to film Mandalorian. We got not a single set photo.
Yeah, Mandalorian's wrapped filming, and we were like, when did y'all start? When did y'all start?
Why go outside when you have a volume inside?
Interesting. Yeah, so everybody was pretty hyped that we getting a surprise Predator movie that we know nothing about. And you know what? I actually hope that they hold it until they got a release date and they just put a trailer out. And we're like, oh, snap.
I hope they... I mean, I don't care who they cast for it. They could absolutely cast a woman for the secret one, but I hope they cast a guy for it, for the secret Predator one. Because I've seen a lot of negativity around them going for actresses for the Predator films nowadays. So hopefully the secret Predator one is a guy one, and then y'all can go watch that one. And then
we'll go watch
that'll
Badlands.
be your Predator film.
Right.
And then we'll all go watch the Predator Badlands
right,
one.
and enjoy it.
Right. We'll watch both because we appreciate things that are just good and fun to watch.
We're sane individuals.
You guys can have your Predator film. And
I don't know. We don't know when it's coming out or nothing. They just said, surprise, there's another Predator movie that's done and finished.
Good.
So good luck to us.
Also on the list of sci-fi franchise revivals, another Alien film is coming out. So Alien Romulus is getting a sequel.
Yay.
And Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson are in talks to return.
Smart.
They lived.
Yeah.
So, and I like their characters.
Correct.
I'm interested to see the new planet that they're going to and how xenomorphs have inexplicably ended up there.
I was going to say, and more xenomorphs.
They'll probably arrive and everybody's dead and it's just xenomorphs running around.
Sure. In a super advanced city of some sort.
That's how Alien 2 went. They arrived and everybody was dead.
I'm okay with that. I mean, we're here for the death.
Because we could not figure out how aliens would show up again. So
we are here for the death and destruction for aliens. So yes, I'm on board.
Fede Alvarez is also working on this as well. So he will be returning. So more weird baby stuff. Yeah.
If you have not seen Alien Romulus, also highly recommend that as well.
Yeah.
Because my goodness.
Any Fede
what
stuff.
A visual.
Yeah. Any Fede stuff has to do with like grossness.
It's pretty gross. So, it's good though.
Or weird offspring.
But it's pretty gross
But it was good. So I haven't watched it yet. I haven't rewatched it yet since it came out.
Okay.
I've watched Long Legs like 3 times though, which is weird.
You on your third watch of Long Legs?
Well,
He's
technically,
crazy, y'all.
I've sat down to watch it 3 times, but it's 2 watch throughs. So
insane.
I need to rewatch Alien Romulus because I really, really like that film.
Yeah, it's on digital now, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it's on physical.
I absolutely
just
need
yet.
to get it on physical.
It'll be on Disney Plus then because it's a 20...
the Searchlight.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Or Fox or whichever one they call it.
One of the ones they bought. It's on that.
Yeah. So excited for that. This is what I wanted to see David Johnson in.
Yes.
Another Alien. And he's like now my favorite android in the Alien franchise.
Okay. I like Michael Fassbender as well.
I liked Michael Fassbender. I did like David Johnson just a little bit better though.
I like David Johnson's whole character arc. I mean,
maybe Michael Fassbender will come back.
Okay. He could use something after this Paramount Plus show nobody gonna watch.
Maybe the planet they went to is the same planet.
They're going to have to connect it, I bet, somehow. Not have to, but they're going to want to connect it.
Maybe the planet they're going... And I know it's probably not the same names because they say the names in the movies. But maybe the planet Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson are going to is the same planet David was taking a girl and the one guy who survived in Covenant. Yeah. And he snuck on with the embryos.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Maybe they're all going to converge.
They're going to want to connect it somehow, I bet.
That's what Michael Fassbender needs to come back to. Alien. Yeah.
Okay.
Get Ridley Scott on the phone.
Really, our way was behind Romulus, so sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
All right. So that is all the movie news, Buncha Crunch, and Trailer Park Visit that we have for this week. We're going to take a short break and come back for our movie review, Venom, Fat Chance.
Basically. Jesus Christ. This week we watched Venom, The Last Dance. I still have Abigail in our notes. I really did bad with notes this week. I'm sorry. But Venom, The Last Dance opened on October 25th. What do I have? 2025. October 25th, 2024. It was directed by Kelly Marcel. This is actually her directorial debut, but she has worked on Venom work before. She was the writer for Venom 1 and Venom Let There Be Carnage. So she's at least familiar with all the other Venom movies. Cast and characters of this here Venom movie include Tom Hardy, who is back as Eddie Brock / Venom, of course. Chiwetel Ejiofor is Rex Strickland, who plays like an army guy. I'm just gonna call him an army guy. Juno Temple plays Dr. Teddy Payne, who is a scientist. We have, how you say his name?
Rhys Ifans?
Rhys Ifans and Alana Ubach play a mom and a dad, husband and wife of a family that are in the movie. I'm lumping the family all together. The family is the character in this movie. We have Stephen Graham, who plays Patrick Mulligan, who was in the previous Venom movie. He was a police detective in that and in this. We have Peggy Lou, who plays Mrs. Chen, also from the previous movies. Clark Becko, who plays Sadie Christmas. She's a new character for this. She played a researcher who works with our Teddy Payne character. And then we also have Andy Serkis, who plays our villain, Null.
All right.
That summarizes just about everybody. That's actually the whole movie. That's everybody in the whole movie when you think about it.
Do we have Mrs. Chen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. She was in there too.
Yeah.
I mean, we got there's no sides. There's a lot of people in the background. No. Runtime is 1 hour 49 minutes. Thank God. It was only 1 hour and 49 minutes.
Should have only been an hour and a half.
It could have been. It really could have been. Budget of $120 million. So they were smart about the budget. I think all of the Venom. Oh, you think that's too high?
Yes.
It's a superhero movie. You can't shoot a superhero movie for less than $100 million.
Okay.
I mean, I think in comparison to, if you look at all three of the movies, I think they're all around 100 to 120. So at least they kept it in check, and it's not like $200 million or like Joker, which was like 285 or something crazy. Anywho, box office is $22 million for opening day. It's not good.
Domestic, or
this is just domestic.
Okay.
So apparently it is doing quite well overseas. So
yeah, they usually do, I hear.
Okay, so, but domestically, it is doing worse than both Venom and Venom Let There Be Carnage. Venom opened up with 32.5. Let There Be Carnage opened up with 37.4. This opened up at 22.
They should have known that after they released Let There Be Carnage, that the returns for the next one would be low.
They should have, because Let There Be Carnage was not good.
It was a big fat flop.
It was
a big letdown, too.
Not good. That movie was frustrating. This one managed to be the same. Yeah. So there you go. Ratings, cinema score is the worst of the trilogy. It got a B-, which is bad for superhero movies. Superhero movies, anything below a B+ is not considered.
They should have made it a horror film.
They could have. Like a real rated R horror film.
Would have been received well better.
Previous Venom films got B+. So they were right on that border of being bad for superhero movies.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes scored, critics wise, is not any better. Critics gave it have it at a 37. Audience score is 79. So that means most critics did not like it. And that means for the audience, most people liked it enough. That's what I'm going to interpret that as.
That's terrible cinema score.
No.
Audience score and critic score makes sense, though. So
people like Venom.
The people who returned for this, yeah.
But they didn't like it enough, because B- for a superhero movie is not good. Like, that's kind of it ain't bottom of the barrel like Joker, which you got a D. So, hey, silver lining.
Yeah.
Let's get into the plot of Venom. I keep wanting to call it Let There Be Carnage. Venom Last Dance. So,
the plot of Venom The Last Dance is Eddie Brock is a fugitive. He is on the run because I
forgot he was a fugitive.
Well, I don't think
he was a fugitive.
No, he wasn't a fugitive previously. I think he was just on vacation.
He didn't become a fugitive until like 2 minutes into the movie then, right?
Yeah, into this movie, yes.
Okay.
Because they did it a news announcement.
Okay.
But Eddie Brock is a fugitive.
Basically.
He is on the run for, we won't spoil yet, but he is on the run for a crime that it is believed that he has committed. Mm-hmm. So he is on his way to New York to clear his name, but he is interrupted because Null has sent xenophages, which are
that's how you say that. Okay.
Weird bug alien creatures, to capture Venom.
Think of a stink bug on super, super, super steroids.
It's because Venom has the key to freeing Null.
Yep.
So that is the plot of the film.
That sums it up pretty nicely. So, non-spoiler thoughts. You want to go first, or I can go?
Non-spoiler thoughts. This movie shouldn't have been made. They shouldn't have made this movie. They should have left it at Venom 2. This felt like a trilogy for the sake of having a third movie to say that your film had a trilogy. And you don't necessarily always have to do that.
They could have made a good movie, though. They could have turned it around. I don't know how. I don't write movies.
I don't think so.
Venom 2 was not good. I did not like it. It was a waste of characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that at least Venom 3 would be able to right the ship and be more like Venom 1.
It does a lot to ruin some of the character, too. Because
it's frustrating.
It regressed Venom a lot, intelligence-wise. Venom is supposed to be like this extraterrestrial, super intelligent being. And he's never been like...
A goofball?
Yeah, I mean, in the first Venom, he was childish in an alien way.
Oh, yeah, because he didn't know.
You're foreign to Earth.
Right.
So all of this seems weird. So your behavior is weird in contrast because you are not from here. So that made sense why his behavior, he wanted to eat heads. You don't understand how the world works. You can't do that here. Right. So that's what was fun about it. Now he's just an idiot. Venom. The Venom character is an idiot. Right. And they don't really do a good job at making the relationship between Eddie and Venom seem positive. It seems like Eddie is worn down and he wants Venom gone, but the dialogue they give Eddie makes it seem like Eddie
BFFs.
Really likes him. It's like, but your acting conflicts with that. It's like you're in a relationship and you know the other person doesn't love you, but they're lying to your face. And that's what it looked like.
Eddie has been taken hostage and it seemed like Eddie is over it. And Eddie's kind of like, you know, the way he talks to Venom might not sound... Well, it kind of does, though. Like, there's one part in the movie where Venom has taken over Eddie and Eddie's making a drink and Eddie's just kind of like, I don't want to do this.
And it makes it hard to watch because it's like, this guy seems miserable. The movie seems like... The whole film is like watching somebody have a nervous breakdown. Yeah. And there's nothing they can do about it.
He looks like garbage through most of this movie.
Then they try to do the emotional parts of Eddie and Venom's friendship, and it's like, well, Eddie seems like he hates Venom. It seems like this has ruined his life.
Eddie actually says it one time, like, you took over my life a year ago. And I was like, he did. Yeah. He actually did. And you look like he took over your life.
So it was weird. This movie just felt weird and very contradictory. I don't know. So we already have the Eddie Venom relationship. We don't really particularly.
We're not having fun.
The movie doesn't make you want to root for it.
No.
The movie makes you want to root for them to eventually be separated so they can go live their lives separately and be healthier.
Or exist separately alongside each other. How about that?
So it's very confusing when you kind of want them to stop being together but you don't want them to be eaten by the alien that's been sent after them to kill them.
Yeah.
And you also don't want them to be killed by Chiwetel Ejiofor, who's also been sent after them to kill them by the military.
I didn't want them to die, obviously, but I also wanted them to just go their separate ways.
Yes.
Like, in peace.
So, I think the movie was bad. It was unnecessary. I don't think it was well directed, unfortunately, if this is that young lady's first directorial debut.
Yeah. She got time, I guess.
It kind of makes sense why they gave it to a writer instead of
like somebody
paying a director to come in and make this film. They're like, let's just elevate somebody who was already in-house, who already worked on the last two, get this out here and make what we can from it.
That sounds plausible.
Yeah.
That sounds very Sony of them to do.
It does sound very Sony. Mm-hmm. CGI was fine.
Sure. The backgrounds was a little shaky.
But CGI in the Venom movies has never been a complaint of mine. I don't believe. So, par for the course.
The symbiotes look good. Null looks good. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the wide ankle shots in the background, you could be like, this is all green screen, my goodness. And it just looks like it. Especially at the end, I was like, is he even where I think he is?
And my last non-spoiler note will be that I was correct.
You were?
Null. We saw more of Null's lace front than we saw of actual Null.
Null was in this for maybe 65 seconds.
So I would like to revisit a time when we talked about Null's screen time. Mm-hmm. And they released the trailer for Venom.
I did.
And the director said that they would not whip out Null and production. They said they would never whip out Null if they didn't have big, huge, monumental plans for him. Like, they would not pull the Null card unless
they have
having something, planned up behind it.
Well,
they lied because the movie Null is not in this film. Null is in this film for a collective 45 seconds. I said 28 seconds. Okay. I'll upgrade it to 45. I don't think he's in it a full 45.
Minute. Okay, not even a minute. You're probably right.
I ain't
gonna fight you on that.
Not on screen a full minute. Because Null is CGI.
You're right.
So
when he talks, there are scenes where we hear him, don't see him.
Yes.
So, sure.
And he never moves And unfortunately, this looks like another movie that was made by somebody who has no idea what takes place in the comic books, but saw a couple of illustrations of comic book characters. Yeah. It had somebody who worked under them kind of fill in some blanks. Short bullet the Wikipedia page, handed to him, and this is what they decided to base Noel off of. The whole movie, he sits in the chair with his head down, holding his sword in the same position.
I didn't even see the sword.
Sword? Yeah, one of his swords.
Didn't even see the sword.
That's what he's holding in his hands.
Oh,
with his hands out in front of him, but he's sitting in the chair in the same position he is as one of those. I can't remember which issue, but it's a iconic for him because he's not like an iconic character. He's recent. Mm-hmm. It's
like a throne chair of some sort.
Yes,
right?
It's one of his comic book shots of him sitting head down holding the sword, and that's the pose that he holds the entire film. He never moves.
45 seconds.
We never see his face. We get an after credit scene, which we'll talk about at the end. Post credit scene, which we'll talk about at the end. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't move. So it looks like the director saw one picture of him and said, this picture looks cool. This must be all of what Noel is about.
He actually seemed like he would have been cool if he did move.
Yeah, because Noel moves around.
The CGI was pretty good.
Noel moves around. He talks. I mean, he's autonomous.
Yeah. I feel like if he could have been quite menacing had he got to stretch his legs.
He's charismatic.
Okay.
So he's chatty. So, I mean, he says awful things, but he's charismatic, chatty.
Right.
They don't give him anything to do in his movie.
Nah.
He's just a presence. He's like a screensaver almost.
He is very much like the villain in Aquaman 2.
Yes.
Where we get all the way to the end and we're like, oh, you the villain? Nice to meet you.
He doesn't
Movie
even,
over.
In the scenes where he is on the screen, he never lifts his head. He never lifts his head
like
the entire film.
They didn't want to pay for it. So they were just like, wig.
Yeah.
Only wig.
They did make a big deal of casting Andy Serkis. He was wasted. So I will say that as a non-spoiler because I do feel like there was false advertising. They did really.
Who was coming for that though?
They really, I think that that's why they played it up. They did it the exact same way that they did Superman. And people, foolish people showed up for that. Nah. They went to see Black Adam.
Because they thought we was getting a lot of motion capture out of Andy.
Yeah. They thought that Noah was going to move a finger.
He is literally strapped in his chair the whole film.
Yeah, it's almost like he's strapped.
Yeah, literally. Can't get up.
Yeah.
Broken legs.
Like one of those action figures that don't have the movable parts.
He's just sitting on his chair.
Yeah.
Whole time.
So
having a beer.
Yeah.
Okay, for my non-spoiler thoughts, you kind of hit on a lot of them. One of mine was a lot of exposition. So they explain instead of show a lot in this movie. It opens up with an explanation, and then we get the same explanation 2 different times from the same character.
Yeah, they keep explaining the point of the movie.
We already know this. Why y'all explaining it again?
Noel told us in the beginning.
Right, and then I think Venom tells us 2 more times, and it's like we already know this.
And then Chiwetel Ejiofor has to go talk to a different symbiote who has to also tell us while they're in the cage.
We know, guys. We know.
Can you just do the movie?
Right. So that too many subplots. I don't even call them subplots. Too many characters.
Yes.
Too many people in this movie.
They gave too many characters their own motivations.
Too many people with things to do in this.
Third movie. We
are here for Venom and Eddie and the villain.
Yeah.
And the villain's obviously not doing nothing. So we're here for Venom and Eddie. I don't care about all these other people. And then what else do I have? The characters do stupid things that are very frustrating. I don't like if you're going to have all these. I said this in another movie where I said, Abigail, where I was like, I don't mind a lot of characters, but I don't want all the characters being stupid and doing stupid stuff. The characters aren't stupid, but they do stupid things.
Yeah.
And several of them do.
I think Venom's stupid.
Okay, fine. Sure.
They made Venom stupid.
They made Venom stupid, and then they had the other characters do stupid things, and it was just like frustrating. Yes. And then last one I'll say is don't make a movie rule and then break it. Immediately break it.
Immediately, yeah.
I was very annoyed by that. So, weak villain. That was
terrible writing.
The writing was bad. The directing was bad. Just a combination of bad. And the acting was just meh.
And the plot kind of went nowhere.
And the plot was just meh.
Yeah.
So, that is... Do you have anything else for non-spoiler?
Not non-spoiler. I think all the juice is in the spoiler.
There we go. So, we are about to get into our spoiler part of our review in 3 and 2 and 1. And we're going to do that by starting down our character list here. We're going to go backwards again like we did the last time. Let's start from the top.
Let's just start from the top.
All right. So we have Eddie Brock is played by Tom Hardy. It's the same. So it's no different from the other two movies.
Eddie Brock is the same. I do feel like Venom got dumber.
Yes.
Yeah, Venom got more dumb and more childish.
He made some of those frustrating moments that I didn't like.
They didn't include enough writing to give like a reason. He just starts off the movie and he's like completely he's like dumber. And maybe he regresses. You said maybe he regresses because the longer he spends on Earth.
Yeah, maybe.
That'll be your idea. I don't think the writers put enough thought into that. I don't want to give them credit for that.
One thing I always think is weird is that Venom likes to drink. I think it's weird because one of our openings, or not our opening sequence, but one of the first things we get with our characters is Venom is making a drink, a margarita or something. He's tearing up this bar, and I'm just kind of like, why does Venom like margarita so much?
I think that has to do with,
and he's very childish and stupid while he's doing it.
And I'm gonna carbon date myself.
Okay.
But I remember watching Roswell.
I loved Roswell.
The original show.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
And this has always stuck with me, how they set a rule that aliens can only taste really strong flavors.
That's
so
why they love Tabasco.
They put Tabasco on everything.
Literally everything.
And I think that's the same thing in this.
Sure.
Because it seems like Venom only eats junk. Like
Venom, chocolate,
and
alcohol.
Venom 2, when the kitchen cooking scene, which I guess was kind of supposed to be the same as the bartending scene here, he kind of makes a whole bunch of crap for breakfast with chocolate and candy and pancakes and chicken and chips. And I guess because he can only taste like really strong things, so maybe that's why he only likes chocolate. And alcohol.
Okay, sure. Because he's making a drink, he's making a mess of it. And Ed here, what I was talking about, non-spoiler, Eddie is over it. He looks over it. He says he's drunk. He says he's got a hangover. But Venom don't care. He wants more alcohol. And it's just kind of like, Venom, chill out. Relax.
And immediately in the movie,
go sit in the sunlight.
And that's where it sets up immediately in the movie, where it seems like Eddie is ready for this to be over.
Yeah.
And Venom's not. But the dialogue that they give Eddie is that he really loves Venom. And
I love you too.
And he doesn't want to be without him. It's like, but you seem like you're having the worst time of your life. You seem like somebody who's addicted to like drugs.
He has
can't like kick it.
Right. A drug addict is one way. I was going to say he looked like he an alcoholic and he's just disheveled the whole time.
And he just can't give up the vice.
Right. I didn't like that. Like, the acting is fine, but the characters, like how they have Venom acting, I was not a fan of. And Venom breaks a movie rule, which we'll talk about in our likes and dislikes, that I was like, this is dumb. I hate this.
Well, I will say, that's my last note about Eddie and Venom, is that this is the least amount of Venom in the movie, because they do set up a MacGuffin in this movie. So. Yes,
and we can say that. So the thing that is coming, what is it called? The monster?
Xenophage. Not xenomorph. Xenophage.
The xenophage can only detect Venom. So we didn't even talk about this. There's a codex that is inside Eddie and Venom.
Yes.
And it's created because when Eddie died and Venom brought it back, it created a codex. And the codex is what unlocks Null. Yeah. Boom. That's the point of the
MacGuffin.
movie. There we go. Now, this codex can only be seen by the stink bug if Venom is in full form. So,
yes.
But Venom can also be, like, he can stick his head out. He can stick an arm out. So we don't get to see Venom as much because if he's in full form, Stinkbug can attack.
And only in full Eddie form. He can be in full form with different people and different animals. Correct. And the codex won't appear. But if he is in full form with Eddie, it does.
Correct. So he got to be his full get up top to bottom. But if he turns, like we see in the trailer, a horse into a symbiote horse, he don't get detected, which I think is stupid. But I'll let it ride.
The MacGuffin was
I leaned over to you and was like, but how can you not see him if he's a horse? And he was like, I guess it's...
Look at that horse. Look at that horse. Look at that horse.
Horse looked awful, by the way. So yeah, those were my issues with that character. Let's go to our next one. Chiwetel Ejiofor plays Rex Sterling, who is a military...
Rex Strickland.
Who did I say?
Rex Sterling.
Don't matter. He plays a commander for the Imperium. I didn't even realize they had a name. Who is working to track Eddie and try to capture Venom. So he's basically the muscle behind this whole operation.
He is. You know who he is?
Somebody who didn't really make an impact in this movie. No offense to Cheetah Boy.
He is Tim Roth in The Incredible Hulk. Okay. Tim Roth, who ended up becoming Abomination. They sent him after Edward Norton's Hulk.
Okay, that makes sense.
He was the commando that they sent after Edward Norton.
So he's just your typical military guy who wants to get rid of the bad or our protagonist because he's like, they're bad, they're aliens, they gotta go.
Yeah, he's super military. Anything that isn't military is there for the enemy.
Is bad. And then he, of course, naturally he turns sides towards the end, and then he wants to help.
Yes, but he's super xenophobic.
Yeah. So that was his character, y'all. That was it. There was nothing else to that. And
nothing.
I mean, we're in spoilers, so he don't make it at the end. He does. He sacrifices himself.
Juno Temple plays Dr. Teddy Payne, who is a gender-swapped character from the comic books, who is a villain in Venom comics. But they kind of just made her just a regular scientist in this one.
Stupid. Oh, go ahead.
So she plays just like a scientist for the Imperium who is responsible for, and this all takes place at Area 51.
Right. That they are decommissioned.
That they're decommissioned.
So they're in Area 54?
55.
55 underground.
The site is Area 51.
Right.
The Imperium works in Area 55, which is a secret 55th area that is underground. That is at least 4 additional floors below the surface.
At least 4. 100 feet. Y'all know the typical 100 feet, carbon steel, antimonium, whatever is keeping people from being able to detect
right
this
next
place.
to the magma in the core of the Earth.
Exactly.
Is where they do their work. She is the one who is leading all of the scientific research, studying the symbiotes. Mm-hmm. They apparently did some backstory in this where they were there to acquire the symbiotes when they first crash landed in the meteor. Right. And they've just been testing on, they've been researching them since then. And they've been wanting to collect somebody who has attached to a symbiote so they can talk to them. They haven't been able to find somebody to successfully, like Cheryl said, attached to the symbiote. Because they did set up the rule earlier in the films that not anybody can bond with the symbiote. Oh, like, they break 2 rules then. I forgot about that one. They set up a rule earlier in Venom 1 that if you are incompatible with the symbiote, you will die. It will eat away at your life, at your body. Like it did in Venom 2. Right. It'll eat away at your body because you're incompatible until you die. And then it'll have to move on and find a new host before itself dies. Right. Because it can't live outside of a body. Mm-hmm. But they've made some way that they've at least kept these things alive in stasis outside of a body for years using these floaty tubes that have like these force fields around them. So they don't have to be inside. And then at the end of the movie, we find out you don't need to be a specific host. They can just let you on anybody. Yeah. So in this movie, they kind of get rid of that. Anybody can be bonded with any symbiote. That's the second rule they break of this movie. Yeah. So Teddy, we get a really long and repetitive backstory with her about losing her brother to a lightning strike. Don't matter. And I think that's shoehorned in because in the comics, she is called Teddy Payne. Mm-hmm. Well, in the comics, he is called Teddy Payne because he cannot feel pain. He was struck by lightning. Oh. He was struck by lightning that has killed his nerves. Point on that at all in the movie. No, they don't point on the fact that she cannot feel pain. They just point on the fact that she got struck by lightning. She was holding her brother's hand. It killed him, and she survived. Basically rendered her arm scarred and dead, where she can't use her arm. But is the arm dead? It didn't. Well, because she couldn't move it or lift it. Ow. Like it never moved the entire movie. I didn't notice that. But they didn't. They didn't allude to the fact that she could not feel pain. So it's kind of just a wasted... We don't even see her scarred arm but once. Yeah, it was kind of just a wasted character. Jacket the whole time. Yeah. So, yeah. I didn't particularly care for her character. I thought she was going to do something interesting. She did not. But she didn't. And then they kind of made her character say something really stupid, where they finally got this one symbiote to bond with Patrick Mulligan, right? Who is played by Stephen Graham from the last one. Mm-hmm. He's alive because, spoiler alert, Brock's on the run because it's believed that he killed Detective Mulligan. Right, and they flash it on the news, and that's why they go running. Mm-hmm. He went missing after he was impaled. Right. At the final fight in the last film. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So they're talking to him, and he's basically telling her, Null is coming. Right. Null wants Venom because Venom has the Codex. You have to find Venom. Yes. And one of them has to die. So the Codex can die. And if the Codex does not die, Null will come back and he will destroy your world. Kill everybody. Yes. Mm-hmm, and Juno Temple's character is kind of just like, well, science is about sacrifice. We can't kill the symbiote. And everybody else in the room is kind of like, it's time for you to wake up because who's going to conduct extra science when we're dead? Because I don't care about this character and I don't really feel any connection to her. I'm just like, girl, you are
That's a stupid thing to say.
They painted her as somebody that we're supposed to be on her side just because Rick Strickland is so awful.
And she lost her brother, but
and we don't care about you or your brother.
No,
because they didn't
know that man.
And they don't explain the significance of her whole lightning strike thing. It comes back 3 times.
I don't know.
The voiceover of when thunder roars, run indoors. But there was never another.
We in Nevada, dog.
There was never another lightning storm in the rest of the movie.
We in Nevada. Where am I gonna go anyway?
It was so weird.
Oh, and that's where the CGI was bad. That lightning storm at the beginning, terrible.
Yeah, it was bad. They should have talked to the animators for Twisters.
Okay, it would have been slightly less terrible. You're right.
Not as good, but
a little better.
Yeah,
a little better. It wouldn't have been so childish.
Rhys Ifans.
He played, and then let's do the family all together. So Rhys Ifans, Alana Ubach played Martin Moon and Nova Moon. They are the mom and dad, husband, wife of 2 kids. They are our family of the movie. The family serves.
They're supposed to be the innocent bystanders, kind of like the audience experiencing the movie.
They assist Eddie in his travels to get to New York. So, he don't make it to New York before the end of the movie. He does, but they help him get to Area 51. Yeah. Even though that's not where he's going. Because they are going to Area 51 because Dad wants to see aliens before they decommission it. The family is in this too much. To me, the family doesn't add anything to this movie. Mm-hmm. And they could have wiped out the whole family and the movie literally could have had the same plot. No difference.
This is another case of movies casting characters to be the audience experiencing the film because I think they think what audiences want to do is they want to be inside the movie. Okay. So we can't put them inside the movie. So let's cast people for them to be in the movie, to do the things that we think they would do. And it's never correct. The going to Area 51. Here's the thing. Area 51 in this movie is being shut down. Yeah. It's still a military base. Military bases, when they're shut down, do not remain completely unmonitored forever. And especially within the week of shutdown. Especially when they shut down, because mostly it's been interrupted because it's been used as a tourist site.
The whole storyline behind shutting down Area 51 was stupid because the reasoning was because they were tired of people visiting.
That would make no sense. The military loves money. They would absolutely flip it into a tourist destination, stop military operations, and just use it to collect money.
That's one.
They wouldn't just abandon it. The site? Are you kidding me?
2 is they say, well, with Area 51 being decommissioned, nobody is going to be able to sneak around and detect us underneath ground. Yeah. So like you said, so people driving every day, because I'm going to assume all these scientists don't live on this Area 55 base. Yeah. People are going to be like, so was you driving to the middle of the desert every day for?
Why are you driving out and back in the middle of nowhere every day?
You just disappearing into a waterfall?
Yeah. All of y'all.
Every day?
Why is a whole bunch of employees and scientists driving out here every day?
Every day at 9, taking a lunch break and driving back at 1.
Door dashing.
Don't made no sense.
Telling the door dasher just leave it outside Area 51.
Leave it outside the waterfall. Don't worry about it. A coyote will come get it for me. That didn't make any sense. So the family breaks into Area 51, which is stupid because why would you instruct your kids to break into a military base? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, they get all tangled up in the final fight. And it's just like, get y'all butts out of here. Y'all are annoying. Go away.
I thought the daughter was funny because she couldn't understand why social services hadn't been to collect them.
Because they should have been.
Girl, this is so funny.
Because your parents is trash.
The whole parents do this all the time. They go on the road and live convoy lives because
basically what they're doing.
Social services can't collect their children if there's no address.
Because they nomads, basically.
You do not realize that social services is why you're out here.
And I thought at one point we were losing the the family ends up dropping Eddie off in Las Vegas and they go on their merry way. And I thought we were done, but they show back up when they break into Area 51. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Because they have to have somebody to be unnecessarily in danger during the climax.
And then they show up again at the very end of the movie when they get freed. Eddie and Venom basically save them from all the chaos. Mm-hmm. They get freed and they go. And then they come back. Yeah. And I'm just like, y'all deserve to die. I just don't understand why y'all keep doing this.
Movies don't constantly have to create scenarios to put bystanders in the way to get the hero to stop fighting the villain to go do a side quest and save some bystanders.
Because they decided to be stupid.
The xenophage is basically set up in this movie to be unkillable.
Exactly.
So what we don't need is the distraction of a stupid family while we're fighting this unkillable monster.
Not only
we have to stop fighting this unkillable monster to save Rhys Ifans and his boy who's afraid of aliens.
Not only is it not killable, but the thing actually leaves you alone if you leave it alone.
Yeah.
That's the kicker. It's only looking for the codex. So until it sees the codex, it's minding its business.
That's true.
Now, if you shoot at it shoot back, basically. And it will eat you and spit you out besides the back of his head.
Yes.
But the family would have been fine because the thing would have been like, oh, you ain't got what I need. I'm going the other direction. So they was just in the way for no reason.
Yeah.
Whole family. Didn't like any of them. Sorry.
Patrick Mulligan, detective from the last 2 Venom films, I believe.
Oh, yeah, I think he was.
Who was investigating Eddie Brock and following him around for his Venom hijinks.
Yeah.
Returns in this film. He's played by Stephen Graham.
Yeah.
He's in the film for maybe 2 minutes, 30 seconds. He's just there to give exposition and then die.
Yeah, because and eventually the symbiote that they attach to him takes over. So we don't even see him anymore. We only see his symbiote version.
Yes.
Floating around like a Death Eater.
Yeah.
In his little cage.
The symbiote that he is bonded with is the Toxin symbiote.
Okay.
Symbiote called Toxin.
Sure.
And it is not evil.
Okay.
It's one of the good symbiotes.
You're right.
In comic lore.
It does seem friendly, I guess. And then it dies.
The whole point of this symbiote's involvement in this film is to re-exposit what Noel exposited in the beginning of the film.
Correct. So then they die.
Yes.
We get more. Now, the cool part about this movie was the symbiotes, but then they kill them. So, yeah. That's why I didn't go through them in the character list because they ain't characters.
Yes. So, all the symbiotes, this symbiote, Stephen Graham's character is basically just playing the symbiote who warns the humans who work at Imperium of what Null is doing, because up until this point they haven't captured Venom, so they don't know what the plot of the movie is. So the entire time Chiwetel Ejiofor in his military group and Juno Temple and her assistant Sadie are working on the symbiotes. They have no idea what the plot of the movie that they're in is about.
No, they're just trying to catch symbiotes,
right?
Essentially. Yeah.
Peggy Lou plays Mrs. Chen. We talked about her really briefly. More Mrs. Chen. She's in this for about 2 minutes. Inexplicably, because of plot, she is also in Vegas gambling at a random hotel that Eddie randomly decided to stop at.
Although I will say the scene, which we'll get about like and dislikes, that she's in is one of my most hated scenes in this movie.
Yeah, so we can go ahead and talk about it because it's our only scene in the film. So while Eddie and Venom are in Vegas trying to score some cash so that they can fund their way back to New York.
Yeah.
Because Eddie's plan is to get to New York, blackmail a judge that he knows, which we do not get any. If they gave enough Easter eggs to indicate who this character was, I missed it.
I didn't know. I didn't recognize anybody.
He's supposed to be going to New York to blackmail a judge.
Because all the movies are taking place on the West Coast.
Who is going to get him his freedom and his life back and get him off of the wanted list. But because that's how the wanted list works. Because one New York judge.
New York has jurisdiction in California.
Yes, one New York judge can clear up you being wanted and on the run for the murder of a law officer
in California.
Yes,
no less.
Yes. So
totally works like that.
So
in the Sony verse.
Mrs. Chen is in this movie, and she offers him a brief safe haven to shower because throughout this whole movie he has not bathed and he is getting filthier and sweatier and grosser by the minute.
Garbage.
He stinks.
He looks like he smells like garbage.
She comments that he stinks, even though Venom cleans his skin and cleans his wounds, but does not clean his dead skin cells. So he still smells.
He looks like
he needs a shower.
Eddie looks like hot mess.
He looks like crap. And I guess, Cheryl, you can talk about this scene.
So in the scene, Mrs. Chen is like, hey, if you didn't know, if you haven't seen any other movie, she knows of Venom. So she knows he exists.
Right.
So as Eddie's talking to her, she's kind of talking to Venom. Like, hey, is the big guy in there? And Eddie's like, yeah, he's in here.
Because you have to have one human who knows.
Exactly. So they go up to her penthouse that she's in so he can shower and eat or clean up or whatnot. And she's like, hey, let's dance. And Eddie's like, no, I don't really feel like it. But she's talking to Venom inside of Eddie. And Venom's like, yes, I want to dance. Eddie's like, no, I don't want to dance. So Venom's dumb behind, transforms or comes out in his full Venom form. Alert, alert. The stink bug only can detect you to take Venom if he's in full form.
Mind you, this is after Venom was the one who gave us the reason, who explained the MacGuffin to us and explained the rules for the rest of the film.
So
Venom was the one.
Just told us that the only way that they can find the Codex is if he's in full form. So he's been hiding and only sticking his head out because he doesn't want to fully transform. He goes up to her penthouse and they have a full dance sequence, which we see part of in the trailer, in his full form.
Because Venom's stupid.
For what?
They made him stupid.
Why? I was just sitting
this was the whole
in
purpose.
my seat. Like, why is he like this if we know that the stink bug is coming?
This whole MacGuffin is the whole purpose. We had to have the horse scene.
Yes.
Because you couldn't transform into
yourself.
Eddie Venom to get yourself to Vegas. So you had to infect a horse to run for you.
Which didn't even get y'all there, by the way.
Didn't even get y'all there, by the way.
It was so stupid. It was so, I was like, I don't understand why y'all did. So, of course, the stink bug shows up, bust up Mrs. Chen's penthouse. Thankfully, she lives because I thought she might have died.
Yeah.
The stink bug, he transforms back into Eddie, so he's just human now. The stink bug's like, oh, sorry, wrong house, and leaves.
Yeah, but he did lure the Imperium commanders to him.
And then the commanders show up, like, thanks for the clue, and then takes Venom and Eddie.
Yeah. Stupid.
So stupid.
Just stupid. I didn't understand why he made the choice to do that for the sake of just giving us a stupid dance sequence. After he was the one, Venom was the one who was like, we can't transform.
I was so mad at that scene.
So dumb. So stupid.
They could have found another way for him to get captured. And being stupid is not the way.
It was fun when Venom was dumb because he was ignorant of the world and humanity.
Sure.
Because he's an alien. It's not fun when he's dumb because now he knows how it works, but he's choosing to make the stupidest
purposely
decision.
Transformed to his full form.
And constantly, all of these movies hinge on him.
Right. My thing is,
stupidest symbiote.
You risk Mrs. Chen's life because she don't know nothing about what's going on.
No, it could have absolutely. I mean, because it looks like it kind of just responds to sparkly things or things that are bright enough.
Yeah.
Because that's how it knew the gunfire.
Yeah, like it can see human outlines, so but it typically will leave you alone.
I thought her dress was going to set it off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that could have been.
Sparkly, but it didn't. But she could have got killed.
It's just so stupid.
Sadie Christmas is played by Clark Bacco, who is a new character. Like Cheryl said, she is Juno Temple's assistant.
Pretty much.
In this film. And I'm
sure
she had her most interesting parts. She was kind of just like a forgettable character.
I mean, they
like her hair a lot.
Her hair was cute.
She was kind of like a forgettable character until the third act.
Right. Because she gives like suspicious side eyes and then she look like she's sneaking off and look like so what is she about to do, y'all?
Framing
what is she about to do
in this movie too? They did a lot of weird framing shots that didn't really come back to anything or didn't really explain why the shot was framed.
Or didn't match up with what was about to happen.
We got a weird framing shot of her shoes that did come back, but came back in like a really, really small. Yeah, exactly.
We went back to her shoes?
We did. Eddie was wearing her shoes at the end. He stole her shoes before they ran out to have the big fight outside of Area 51.
Didn't even catch that.
But we lingered on her shoes, and I was like, that's weird. Is something going to crawl out of her shoes?
Right, because they got like pink laces.
Yeah, they did a lot of weird framing with her that didn't really add up to anything.
But for what do we care that he took her shoes?
When Toxin explains to them that, Null is coming and he can't be stopped, and we get a weird scene with her going out to her coworker and asking her coworker, has she talked to her family? I'm just like, well, I mean, we haven't gotten to the apocalypse part yet. What are you talking? Why is she calling her family? Like, we've identified the one threat and one villain.
She acted like we was in Independence Day.
Yeah.
Like, have you told your mama? Because the world about to end. It's like nobody noticed
We haven't gotten there yet. And the guy technically can't leave his house. Right. So we haven't even gotten there yet. So it's weird when they framed that scene like that.
He ain't found Null yet.
Her most interesting parts is when she bonded with Lash. Who is one of the green symbiotes.
Okay.
That can.
But then they took it away from her.
They did, and Lash died. So
yeah,
and
she lived, but Lash did not make it.
They did a very stupid thing in this movie where, and we can just get to it.
Mm-hmm.
They saved all of the symbiotes that the rest of these movies should have been about. The movies should have been about Venom encountering multiple symbiotes. Instead, we got We got the first movie, which is him running into the one bad symbiote.
Yeah.
The next movie running into the next bad symbiote.
Uh-huh.
But between both of those movies, we have to waste time with Venom fighting.
And there's a whole army of symbiotes sitting at Area 55.
Fighting military people. But in Area 55, we have every other symbiote in the Pantheon. And they wasted them for a third act mashup fight when the movie should have been about different symbiotes. You could have went past movie 3.
That was actually a cool scene. But then they all die.
Yeah.
They literally killed them all.
Yeah.
All the ones that we saw in the little tubies that end up latching on to people so they can help fight with Venom.
It's kind of like the Iron Man 3 when he whips out all of those extra suits that we never saw.
Yeah.
And they all get blown up by the different extremist people. Literally,
maybe within like 5 minutes, all of the symbiotes are dead. And some of the people that were attached to them.
But I liked Lash's little fight sequences. It was the one that lived the longest.
You're right. It was the last symbiote standing. You're right.
And I felt bad for her because when she lost it, I feel like she really lost. Like she
really sad. Wanted that symbiote.
She really wanted.
She was like, "Oh, Lash. This the life."
Yeah.
She was like, it got taken away.
And the last person we can talk about is the star of the film.
Our villain is in this movie for, what do we say, 45 seconds?
45 seconds, probably.
He's not very intimidating. He looked like he would have been if he got up out of his lazy butt up out of that chair. Yeah. But he's at the very beginning, like you predicted. Mm-hmm. He's at the maybe in the middle for like a scene when he's sending more stink bugs. Mm-hmm. And then I think he's at the end. Yes, I think he's at the end for a little bit. He don't do nothing, y'all.
So my first note is Noel's position. So we get Noel's position in this movie because the movie opens up with Noel basically giving us his backstory in the plot of this movie, which is what I think we said when we talked about this a while ago. But Noel was in existence before the Big Bang.
Oh, no, we didn't talk about where Noel came from. Go ahead.
Okay, so Noel was in existence for the Big Bang in comic lore. They edited his monologue in this to erase things that they cannot mention.
Oh,
from the MCU.
Okay.
But in this movie, he existed before the light of creation.
Okay.
And there was just total darkness. And the light, he didn't like the fact that they were creating life and bringing light into his very dark universe. Mm-hmm. So he wanted to start to kill anything that they brought to life. Okay. And then in the comics, the Celestial said, no, thank you. So they banished him.
We like the sound.
They banished him to the nether realm.
Okay.
Or the void.
Okay.
And said that you cannot leave the void.
Oh, they did change it then.
In the movies, they did the symbiotes turn their back on him. And I was like, well, how did the symbiotes have the power? Y'all can't even beat one xenophage. So how did y'all stop Null?
Somehow,
but anyway,
right. Numbers. Powers and numbers.
The symbiotes turned on their creator and locked him away.
Yeah, in a prison, of course.
And the xenophages that they can't defeat in a prison away.
It looks pretty sizable prison, though. Maybe his prison is the chair. That's
Maybe the prison is in his mind. Because both. It doesn't make sense why the xenophages can teleport in and out of the same room he's in, but he can't hop in one of them portals.
And he's the one who opens up the teleporties.
Yes.
Like he literally opens up and they go through.
Yes.
I think the prison is his chair then. He's stuck to the chair. I'm going with it. That's my lore.
Sure.
He's stuck to his lazy boy chair.
It just doesn't make any sense.
That recliner is too comfortable.
They didn't do a very good job in this film with explaining why Null couldn't just get up and do it himself.
No.
None.
No. He's just sitting in the chair, and at the end, he's still stuck to his chair. And in the after credit scene, he's saying, "I'm getting out of this chair," and you're like, "Sure, guy."
So
sure.
Null was a big letdown. I guess he had a nice.
How did they pay Andy Serkis to even do this? They could have paid
Andy Serkis. They sent Andy Serkis a microphone.
They could have slid Tom Hardy a little extra on the back end and be like, "Can you also do no for us?"
They sent Andy Serkis a podcast mic and a headset. Said, "Hey, plug this into your MacBook. Read these lines and then drop it."
I mean, he sounded like
drop the audio file in this Google Drive.
He sounded like he would have been kind of intimidating.
And we will deposit several millions of dollars into your checking account.
You better should have got $5,000 at the most for this.
Null was a letdown. I don't think we'll be seeing Null again.
Maybe they said we was.
I don't.
They promised. They promised me more Null, and I want it.
You know what? I would find it very surprising. As much pushback as Tom Holland gave them writing Spider-Man 4.
They sound like he was
over and over again saying, "I don't like it, send it back."
And they still ain't right.
I can't imagine him accepting a version that had Null in it.
No. I said Null gonna be with Craven. That's what I predict. They're gonna somehow get Null and Craven together.
What a waste.
They have to keep making movies to keep these rights. So Noel is probably going to be somewhere in something.
Are there any other likes and dislikes you like to expand upon?
Let me see. With the family too long, Venom is annoying and stupid. Too many dumb decisions. I actually think we might have hit everything while I was going through all the characters.
I didn't have very many likes. I will say the CGI was good, but I mean, it should be. It's standard with the superhero movie based on a non-human character.
The symbiote CGI was good. I'll give it that. Sure.
Dislikes.
I was going to say, I can't think of anything else I liked.
I didn't like how much non-Venom combat there was.
Okay.
I don't like movies where the MacGuffin is the superhero can't use their superpowers. It's stupid.
It was a lot of military fighting, like just shooting guns. And it's just kind of like, we here for symbiotes.
I hate movies where the person has powers and the whole crux of the movie is that the person can't use their powers.
That was literally...
That was
this movie. Until they decided that he can dance.
It makes the movie boring, and it highlights the boringness when you don't have a writer who's good enough at writing something. You have to write something more compelling and better. We're paying to see. Military? It's a superhero movie, so we're paying to see spectacle. So if you're telling us that the plot of the movie is that you can't show a spectacle because the hero will be in danger, then you have to do better writing. If you can't do better writing, then go back to the spectacle.
The movie, the movie was good for the 5 minutes where we had all of the symbiotes bonding with the people and they were fighting.
Yeah.
But then it turned to, wait a second, when they started killing them off one by one. And I was like, y'all did this to just kill them all? I like and dislike at the same time.
I like Tom Hardy as an actor, but I didn't come here to see Tom Hardy do wire work with a Venom gloves and Venom feet and a Venom mask on.
Scene in the beginning of the movie where Tom Hardy, Eddie, throws a shoe at somebody and knocks them out. And I'm like, Venom is literally right here. Why are we using shoes? It's
mostly just Tom Hardy doing wire work.
Why was Eddie even outside of Venom fighting? He's Venom.
Yeah.
He needs to be Venoming.
Eddie's vulnerable. Eddie's body is vulnerable.
Eddie was literally fighting outside of Venom at the beginning scene where they're trying to save dogs from like a dog fighting ring. Yeah. And I was like, Eddie, why is you here?
Eddie, who does not enjoy this.
It was
before we got the MacGuffin that they aren't allowed to transform. Eddie, who does not really enjoy this relationship, was the one doing most of the fighting.
I just didn't understand.
It was stupid.
I didn't understand.
Stop making movies about superheroes, and the point of the movie is that they can't use their superpowers. Yeah, and if you know you can't write anything better to look at than their superpowers, then don't make that the point of the movie.
My biggest dislike would definitely be the rule breaking. Do not tell me that the character cannot come out of his form or else he dies. And that he comes out of his form for a stupid dance sequence. Mm-hmm. Hated it.
Yeah.
I think I've established that. But I just wanted to point that out again in the official dislike section of the podcast.
I didn't find it believable that the family was able to sneak into Area 51 after they had closed it.
That was believable.
I don't. Military bases, here's the thing. Area 51 shut down.
Yeah.
Sure.
Shutting
Nobody
down.
Works there anymore. Yep. Sure. No military personnel works there anymore.
Yeah.
As far as we know. Mm-hmm. However, there are people still working in areas 52 through 54. Or 55. So there should be somebody at least watching the door.
The top side.
Where the elevator is. Because there should not be a family of tourists who are able to sneak onto the base and endanger themselves right outside where the elevator to area 52 and through 55 are.
That was very stupid. I guess I only believed it because they made it they do this in all movies. There's an open fence, so they crawl through the fence. What made me upset was the fact that it wasn't the little boy crawls through first. Now, mind you, it's the little boy who said he don't even want to see no aliens.
But Eddie told him aliens don't exist, so that's why he was fearless.
Okay, but then the parents go, okay, well, let's go with him. No, get your kid and go back home.
Because they're hippie parents running away from social services. This makes total sense for them.
Dislike family.
Social services ain't going to find them at Area 51.
Making the characters make stupid decisions to advance the plot is very annoying to my spirit.
Yeah.
Did not like that.
Oh, and I also didn't like, my last non-like is that buddy comedy doesn't work if you can only see one buddy. So Venom and Venom movies have been buddy comedy movies. Venom 1 through 2, I think, gave an equal amount of, or a good amount of screen time between the two of them.
Agree.
This one is just, we only get one buddy. We only get
mostly
Eddie through most of the film. And we get Venom in the voice booth.
Okay.
But that's about it.
Yes, because we hear Venom quite a bit,
yes.
but we don't get to see Venom as much. So it's a lot of Eddie looking and talking to himself.
You have to have both buddies to make buddy comedy.
You're sure? I agree. Venom's head popping up on the side every now and then was not enough for me.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just
make him.
Watching Tom Hardy do very embarrassing acting sequences.
Yes.
Alone. Because
he's
Venom
talking
is
to
not
him.
there.
He's talking to himself.
And I think that was a poor choice. But that also adds credence to the fact of stop making superhero movies where the superheroes can't use their powers.
Agree. 100% agree.
So that's my last dislike.
Okay, let's talk about the ending here. So I think we might have already... Oh, no, we didn't say it. So at the end of the movie, Venom does, surprise, surprise, self-sacrifice because one can't live while the other one dies or whatever crap. Mm-hmm. That's from Harry Potter.
And it wouldn't be right to kill the human character.
Exactly. So who gets to die?
Even though Rex Strickland tried without hesitation.
That was his plan. His plan was to kill Eddie.
He put him in out his cell and shot him immediately. He
was going to save the symbiote.
They didn't even give him last words.
And get rid of Eddie's behind.
Yeah.
But that ain't what happened. So we get back topside. We had our big fight. Family gets away. Blah, 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 blah. Venom's like, the only way that Noel's going to stop is... And now Noel is sending a bunch of more stink bugs through.
Right, and they can't defeat one, so...
10 of them is just 10 times more difficult.
Right.
So Venom's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself. We have this very corny flashback scene of Venom and Eddie moments through the last 3 movies. I'm pretty sure they only picked like 4 scenes.
This is one cool thing.
What?
He bonded to all of the xenophages and dragged them into the acid.
Exactly.
I thought that was interesting.
So as Venom and Eddie together are going to go to the acid bath that got alluded to earlier in the movie.
He couldn't have bonded to the xenophage at least one of them at any other point of the movie.
Venom decides he wants to enlarge himself, bonded to all the stink bugs, crawls to the acid. Strickland is kind of on the side because he didn't got stabbed. He about to go. So he also helps, uses his little eye scan or whatever to dump the acid bath on the Venoms and the stink bugs. They all die. Mm-hmm. Before Venom does that, he shoots Eddie out of him. So Eddie's like, please, Venom, don't go. And Venom's like, no, don't, I gotta go.
Please Venom, go.
He tells Eddie, don't forget about me. And Eddie's like, I can never forget about you, buddy. Venom's dead. That's the end of the movie. Pretty much. Venom sacrifices himself. Everybody else lives. Sadie Christmas does not get her symbiote back, but what's her name? Teddy Payne ends up busting out a symbiote out of a glass tube she had.
Agony.
That's the symbiote she turns
Which
into.
is strange because they didn't make Teddy a villain, but they gave her agony.
So Teddy actually takes a symbiote from the lab that she has in her pocket that somehow doesn't get crushed in the fight. Crushes it to turn into Agony, I guess is the symbiote name. Mm-hmm. And Agony helps, I think, win the fight. But at the end, she also helps save Sadie from the acid bath that's about to kill them as they're trying to escape. So we get Sadie saved. We get Teddy turned into a symbiote now. She can flip back and forth like Eddie and Venom used to do. Venom is now gone. Strickland is now dead. And then Eddie and Venom were going to go to New York to do whatever they were going to do. But Venom earlier said, I want to go see Lady Liberty, Statue of Liberty. That's one thing he wanted to do. Eddie, as a tribute to Venom, goes to New York to see the Statue of Liberty, and that is our final shot. Now, It is very clear. Now, in most movies, when you go to the Statue of Liberty, they actually go to the Statue of Liberty, like get on the ferry to go over. Eddie, like, I ain't got time for that. And he goes on a random bridge in New York.
Looks at it.
And looks at it from like a super far distance across the river. And it's like, you couldn't even take the time to go, like, you didn't want to see it yourself.
Could have got on a ferry.
Like, you didn't want to go see it?
Yeah.
No. So in some very looks like horrible CGI shot where it looks like Eddie ain't actually in New York physically, we see him looking at the Statue of Liberty, and that's it. And
we get a sizzle reel of the greatest hits and their greatest moments.
But they weren't even that good.
They weren't. And a lot of them were from this movie.
2 of them were from, we get maybe like 8, no one's even 8, 5 shots, and 2 of them from the movie we watching. And I'm like, y'all, we done had 2 movies. Y'all couldn't think of nothing better. But anywho, so that's our ending. We get 2 after credit scenes. One of them is of a cockroach. And
one of them is the bartender.
The bartender from the beginning
from the end of No Way Home
that they took captive to ask him some questions, and we never see again. He actually ends up he bust out essentially.
I guess they left him after all of the fighting took place at Area 51 and everybody evacuated. They forgot that they had a prisoner.
Right. So he comes up out of the ground like, hola, hello. And then he runs off. And then we see a cockroach crawling out because there's an earlier reference to cockroaches survive everything. And I guess the cockroach is close to the test tube that...
I mean, nothing's in it, but...
Yeah, okay. I don't know what they was alluding to there. But the scene before that, we get Null saying... I'll do it myself. We'll get the Thanos. I'll do it myself. And you're like... I said
it was going to end with after credit scene of Null saying, I'll do it myself.
Null is basically in his prison like, y'all think y'all done with me, but y'all ain't. And it's like, what we supposed to be? Because the Codex is gone because Venom is dead.
But one thing we do get, I guess, is we finally get to see his face in the post-credit scene, which the most notable thing about Null is his face.
He looks like
a vampire person.
You say he look like Abigail.
He does look like Abigail. Well, in the CGI, they made him look like Abigail.
He got Abigail teeth.
In the comics, he kind of looks like the Joker who laughs.
Okay.
The Joker who laughs is
you're right. You're
the one
with
the real creepy smile and the crown. Yeah.
That's so Null. They set up Null to return, but Venom died.
Yeah.
So that Null could not escape.
So the one MacGuffin that they said is the way for Null to get out is gone.
Third rule broken. That you told us, the audience, that the villain is dead. Villain is stuck as long as one of them sacrifices.
Because there's a piece of symbiote in the MCU. Because what they did do in this film, because a lot of people were very confused by the trailers. Because in the trailers, it shows the piece of symbiote and the bar counter. Yep. And then Chiwetel Ejiofor captures it. And the confusion is, it was left in a different universe. Why is it in this bar counter?
Right.
Well, he left two. He left one in the MCU. Mm-hmm. One piece fell off of him, I guess, at the bar in the MCU at the end of No Way Home. Mm-hmm. Then he jumped through the portal and got sucked back to his universe. Mm-hmm. And he also left a piece on a coin in his universe.
Yeah.
So maybe the one in the MCU will find an Eddie Brock and bond with it. And then a new codex will be created.
So Eddie gonna have to die again to make a codex?
Because Null is a universal villain. He's a multiversal villain.
Get out of here.
So maybe that's how they'll bring him into the MCU. Because we'll get an MCU Venom and an MCU codex. The codex is a real thing.
I don't mind Venom in MCU. I don't want to know. Y'all, I'm sorry. Y'all had y'all chance. I'm done with him.
The little spiral orange crap MacGuffin is unfortunately a real thing. It's
I don't mind that.
It's stupid, but
I don't like the fact that y'all told me that the villain is stuck in his prison as long as we make a sacrifice. We make the sacrifice, and you tell me, well, I mean, the lazy boy is not permanent. He could get out at any time.
The rules don't matter. Venom knew he wasn't supposed to be changing into body, but did for Mr. Chin. So and symbiotes can now bond with whoever.
Apparently.
Because they set up the rules in the first Venom, the symbiotes can only bond to a compatible person, but apparently everybody who worked at Imperium was compatible. So while they were spending all those years with those symbiotes in stasis because they couldn't find anybody to bond with the symbiote, they literally just need anybody
to be like, hey,
the
guys.
security guard was compatible.
Literally.
He died because he got blown up by Rex, but he was compatible. Christmas was compatible the whole time. Juno was compatible. Everybody who worked there was compatible.
It's like that scene from Mrs. Doubtfire. The whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I made no sense. Do you have any random notes that you have not shared?
Any random notes that I haven't shared? The road trip scene was overly long.
Too long.
They tried to hammer home, and this kind of conflicts with the whole Brock actually likes Venom thing. Mm-hmm. They kind of conflict with the whole Eddie could have had a regular life, a wife and kids and family if Venom hadn't gone with him. And Venom kind of acknowledges that, but it still doesn't. It conflicts with the fact that Eddie is sad Venom is dead because
I thought that Venom was trying to say that we could have had this life.
And I thought what they were trying to say was that no, y'all can't. The whole point is that he can't because you're here.
Okay.
I thought that's what they were doing, but
I thought Venom was trying to say, "Oh, isn't this a nice life of peace and quiet?" I'm like, well, you eating heads while he's like. looking like crap. I don't think that's gonna work.
I
for
thought
y'all.
that's what it was that Venom was trying to say, oh, we can have a normal life, and in Eddie's mind, he's like, we can't have a normal life because you're here.
Okay.
I can't have this because you're here.
I mean,
but they didn't. I don't think it was written well enough for
that.
The
silver lining of the idiot is that Eddie is free.
Yes, that is the silver lining.
He is free, and hopefully he goes alcohol free.
Because they kind of made, like you said, unfortunately, we came to see these movies for Venom in the beginning.
Yeah.
Now Venom is insufferable. And now he's become the worst part of the film.
And I didn't, like, the movie's called Venom.
Yeah. And I didn't like that there were so many moving parts in this movie going nowhere. No. We didn't need Juno Temple's backstory.
I didn't care.
Sadie was fine, but we didn't need so many scenes with her.
Nope.
Rex Strickland was a waste of a character.
Yep.
He's just a stock military guy who's there to create conflict between the cooler heads in the room.
And help make the sacrifice at the end.
And he didn't need to.
No.
He got himself impaled and then blew himself up.
Venom literally could have opened up the acid vat, because he's freaking Venom.
Yeah. But Chiwetel Ejiofor. I mean, I guess he wasn't going to live after he was like stabbed through the gut.
He could have lived. He could have lived.
But
I mean,
who knows when they would have gotten to the next hospital. This place is supposed to be shut down.
Whatever.
So
I have a random note that says the many MCU references felt desperate. So Thanos and the Snap is referenced a couple times, and it was just like, y'all get out of here.
Well, it's actually just the same exact scene from No Way Home.
Oh, is it?
You should go back and watch it. It's on YouTube. It's the same exact
scene. Where the bartender freaks out about the big purple guy?
They took the exact same scene. The only difference is they changed the angle from which Eddie is sucked back into the portal. But it's the exact same scene. Yeah. It's been so long.
Right.
That
I
forgot.
It's so insignificant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, we know this is not MCU, so
they just took the footage.
Don't even try it. And I thought putting Venom back in his universe was funny because Kevin was like, he needs to go. Yeah, he needs to go where he came from.
And look what we got. The decision that was made was correct.
Exactly.
All right. I'm ready to get to our rating.
All right. What are your Nicole Kidmans for here? Venom: The Last Dance.
I am going to give it a 1.
Oh, that's pretty tough.
I don't have anything positive to say about this movie other than I thought the visual effects were good. I do think the xenophage visual effects were good.
Okay.
I do think it was creepy. Okay. I think it was gross the way it ate people and I guess it inside
spit people out the back of his head.
Inside of its mouth was like a wind turbine.
Yeah, basically.
Where it like ate and shred you up and spit your guts out in the back.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty.
But the effects look good.
Okay.
Like it looked good, and I liked the effects when it brought itself back together.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that the stink bug, when you dice it, slice it, and blow it up, it pulls itself back together.
Yes,
so which was stupid.
Like, as the Terminator 2 rules,
which was a stupid move by the characters because they kept trying to kill it.
But they were able to defeat it by cutting off its head.
Because that one time it forgot how to put itself back together.
So cutting off the head, separating the brain from the body by decapitation kills it. Oh. But putting its entire body and shredding it into bits, and brain included,
in the 757 plane,
does not kill it.
Nope.
No, it has to be regular decapitation.
Because blowing it up also where its head probably detached don't count either.
No.
Yeah. So has to be by a sharp
blade.
Or
maybe it just dies when it's tired.
Sure.
Maybe it was like, you know what, this is death 12. I'm out.
It's like Mickey 17. Just do it already.
So I'm going to give it a 1 only because that was the only plus that I have for it. The rest of it, I think, are negatives.
I'm going to give it 1.5. And I'm only giving it a half because I think it was actually a little better. But then Let There Be Carnage, which I would give a 1. So it's only getting a half because I don't think it's as bad as Let There Be Carnage.
And I like the people in Let There Be Carnage better.
The problem is I like those people and they made them terrible. If you get really good people and make them terrible, that's worse than getting people I don't really know and then making them whatever.
Like outside of Chiwetel Ejiofor,
I don't know them people.
Everybody else in this movie was a downgrade.
Exactly.
From Michelle Williams and Woody Harrelson and Naomi Harris.
You're right, but somehow when you get great people and make them bad, it's a worse offense than getting people I don't care about and making them bad.
Yikes.
So listen, there's no scientific thing behind this. The movie sucked regardless. 1.5, it don't matter. It's not getting more than that from me.
But a lot of people were in the theater, which is surprising.
You think so? There was nobody on either side of us.
But there were people behind us and in front of us. So
okay.
So
Like the movie had a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
People were in front of and behind us, but not on the side.
So that is our rating for this movie, Venom: The Last Dance. You don't have to go see this.
No.
I'm
not even gonna say if you've seen the other ones, go see this.
No,
you're fine.
If you've seen the other ones, that was the end.
You probably would be annoyed that Venom actually dies in this. To be honest, you would probably be like, "What?"
Yeah, and
people probably would be annoyed by the fact they killed him off.
I saw somebody else's review and they were like, don't go see it. You don't have to go see it. And I usually hate to say don't go see a movie, but you shouldn't go see this movie.
I want Tom Hardy to be an X-Man. Make him any mutant. I don't care. I just want him.
Wolverine.
I want him to have a superhero redemption.
I think Tom Hardy would be a good Wolverine.
Sure, I'll take it. He plays like, complex, troubled characters pretty well.
Yeah.
And I'm not interested in movies like The Bike Rider, so I don't want to see him in that. I want to see him in some. Put him in a rom-com at this point. I don't care. He need redemption.
Put him in the next Christopher Nolan movie. He's been in one.
He probably, you know what? If he pops up in the next one, I would not be surprised.
He could be a vampire in the 1920s, or a
helicopter,
or a vampire helicopter cop.
That's the
in
one.
The 1920s.
That's the one. That's the plot right there. So yeah, that has been our show. Hope you enjoyed it. It's been a long one, but we had a lot of news. And this movie we needed to let you know about this movie so you can not go see it. So now we just saved you time. You're welcome.
So what are we watching next week?
Next week, we are going to review all of Agatha All Along. So the series finale.
Yes, last 2 episodes.
Last 2 episodes come out on Wednesday. We're going to review the whole show from top to bottom.
Should be an hour long.
Both. Each. Don't.
Actually, they should be 67 minutes.
If
long.
I don't get two 30-minute episodes, I'm going to throw my phone and then watch them both.
67 minutes long. You can put the credits after the 60-minute mark.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So yes, we are going to review the whole show. If you are on Threads, you should definitely follow us because we have a nice, good chatter after each show, and I'm sure Threads, Instagram. Maybe not Instagram, Twitter, Reddit gonna be ablaze after these 2 episodes. But we'll do the whole rundown for you so you can listen to our thoughts.
I think the viewership jumped like 35% after the last episode. So
great, it's good, y'all.
Episode 7 is
catch
probably
up
the best one so
and
far.
watch it because we spoiling it to death.
Yes.
Okay, I don't even know if we're gonna do non-spoilers on that one. It's just gonna be straight up spoilers from top to bottom. Ain't no need.
Especially now after episode 7, and now that we have seen Lilia's point of view, it's going to be very hard to not do the spoiler parts.
Here's the thing. The second the credits start rolling, it is spoiled on social media. So if you have managed to get this far and not seen anything spoiled, good for you. We spoiling it in our episode though. At the beginning. All right. So thanks for listening. Hey. If you like our show, please share it. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on our website at www.vaguelynerdypodcast.com. We can also leave us a voice message where we will play it on the show if it is nice. Yeah. And you can also follow us on Twitter at VaguelyNerdyPod, IG at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, or on Threads at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast as well. You can also reach us at vaguelynerdypodcast@gmail.com for our email. And if you are listening to our audio format podcast, you can view our animated format on our YouTube channel at the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast. All right. Until next time. Bye. Bye.